my goodness, what a weekend. 5 of the top 7 teams in college basketball go down. Micah and I were right on Fury over Wilder, right? It was you and me, not these two? Yeah, I just want to make sure I got that right. The longest win streak in the country resides in the land of enchantment. We got so much to do. And Mad Bum, he's a rodeo star making money. What's up, boys and girls? Merry Monday to you, the final Monday of February, as we get ready to turn into the madness month. But I think the madness has begun. Lobos lose in Boise over the weekend. Lobo women lose at home to Boise. I hope you heard that game on the Mountain West Network. What a unbelievable call that was. Unbelievable. And then today, Kobe Bryant and Gianna and the other 7 people who were on board that helicopter will be remembered at Staples Center. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, Micah, and Josh. What's good, y'all?
Oh, what it do?
Oh, yeah, buddy.
It was a very busy.
Crazy.
Very busy weekend.
Yeah, between the NBA, the college basketball, the fight was insane. We got a lot to get into. College basketball certainly will be it, and Lobo basketball will be front and center. And guest list for you today will include at, I probably should have let you know on this, 8:15, the head coach of the team with the current longest winning streak in college basketball. The only team, I believe, that is still undefeated in conference. New Mexico State's Aggies, who wrapped up a regular season championship. First round bye in the WAC tournament. Chris Jans will be with us coming up at 8:15 this morning. Then at 9 o'clock this morning, we haven't had this guy on, I don't think, JJ in a year, right, on our show. I mean, I think he's on every other show, period, that you could possibly think of. But Jeff Grammer's a beat writer for Lobo basketball, and I wanted to get him on just for his perspective on lineups and discipline and the what did Paul call it after the game yesterday? The showing up on time. He used what was the word?
Punctuality.
That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. Punctuality issues. So we've got all that to do. That's your guest list today. All right, Lobos lose on the road by 14 points. I don't. It's so old to me at this point. Different guys, different lineup, same result. I don't know where it's going. But I'm dying for something to find positive about it, and I'm really struggling. I know people were telling me, well, the young guys got to play, and Quach looked good, and Vegscheider looked good, and okay.
Yeah, that's about all you're going to get out of it is seeing some run out of Vegscheider. Got 20 minutes on the start. Manuel Quach played 18 minutes. Of course, this coach's decision with what happened. Zane Martin not playing the first half. Andre Hendricks not playing at all.
Well, Keith McGee didn't play for a long time, too.
Yeah, Keith McGee ultimately ended up playing 19 minutes, but the same reason we saw Zane Martin come in. Those two guys had some stuff happen. Thursday's practice, which we'll get into with Jeff Grammer. Just kind of the story of the Lobo season. Just not good enough at times. You're like, okay, this is somehow working. They got it to a 6-point game in the second half. Then Boise State went on a 12-2 run. Now, I wasn't expecting much out of this team on Sunday, and that's the problem. It's at this point in the season, it's all gone wrong for New Mexico, and now there's some discipline, and now the young guys are playing. And
all right, so this is where I'm struggling a little bit, and evidently there were punctuality issues, and I guess Vontae threw what is described by Jeff as a tantrum, right, at practice the other day, and the other guys showed up late, and so now, and by the way, good that you're going to lay down some discipline. But if it's you're doing it now, 17 and 12, 29 games into the season, here's the deal. And Jaquan Lyle still played 33 minutes. And by every account, there's been a lot of issues with him. We heard a lot of stuff about last week, and yet he still played 30-plus minutes. I don't know. Bill Parcells is the guy who said years ago, you don't coach every guy the same, right? You coach your stars differently. You give your stars get more leeway than other people do. And I guess you're considering Jaquan Lyle a star. I don't know that I do, but fine. But it's tough to send a message that one guy can show up late, or one guy can miss practice, or one guy can do this, but you can't. And now I'm going to lay down the law, and we're going to go on the road, and we're going to play these other guys. And I'm struggling with it, and I want to get to a point where I'm comfortable with it, and I think it's the right way to go. But I'm certainly struggling with it. Where are you with it?
I think everyone is struggling with it, and the conversation on social media, the conversations between people on the shows, whatever it may be, because once it kind of came out, happened at practice, and then you saw it play out on Sunday, the initial reaction is, why didn't this happen earlier? Why didn't this happen with Jaquan Lyle earlier than waiting until a party happens and then he gets suspended 2 games and sits out? It's a lot of question marks for this team. The Lyle stuff is at the top of it, the amount of time he plays, and it's just like the little things that you see, and it just highlighted that one moment in the second half where there's a turnover, that midcourt, Lyle has it, Jackson's running to his right wide open, and instead of just, all he has to do is push it forward. And then he tries to dribble it behind his back, and he gets bailed out because it's poked away. McGee's right there to finish on the other end. And then as they're going to the timeout, Jackson's looking at him like, what are you doing? Yeah. Aren't you passing the basketball? And those guys are like oil and water right now. And it just highlights that issue among many for this level basketball team.
Yeah, it's. I don't know where you think it's going to get better, and some of you may be holding on for the 3 days in Vegas thing, or 4 days in Vegas is really what it's going to come down to. By the way, we'll be in Vegas next week. Looking forward to it. We're going to be there. Opening drive. We'll be live from Las Vegas starting next Wednesday. We'll watch the Lobos in the Mountain West Conference Tournament and bring you up to date with all the latest. The opening drive will be live from Vegas starting next Wednesday. Our live coverage sponsored by 1-800-TRUCK-WRECK, American Home Furniture and Mattress, Hooters, Airport Parking, and Rudy Chavez, attorney at law. Those are the people who are getting us there and getting you that coverage from there. I don't know where this goes. Vontae Hendricks didn't play. Do you buy the whole competitively? We just wanted to give other guys and give it a different look, and the other guys. Look, I like Emmanuel Quach a lot, and I think that he's going to be a nice player in this program if he stays. I think defensively he's fantastic. I saw your tweet yesterday, and I can't agree with you more. Athletically and defensively, I think he's going to be terrific, and if he develops offensively, you've got a really, really nice player there. I'm good seeing him get some run. I think he actually impacts the game defensively. But when you watched RJ go down and post up Kirk Vegscheider last night, and you're like, I mean, there's not a chance.
There wasn't.
The young man's got. You've got that beast on senior night who's going off, going up against this freshman who barely gets to play. And I'm watching Jordan Arroyo, and God bless him, and I like him a lot. But the lineup out there, yeah, they lost 74-61, and I mean that was probably a pretty good effort out there to lose by 13 points.
I just could never get a feel for that game yesterday.
I did. It was never.
Well, the lineups and what was going on, and knowing at this point in the season what the conversation is going to be. Is it because of Eddie Nunez speaking out on Thursday, and then you had that practice, which is pretty much right after that, and knowing that he wants to see more from his coaches across the board with what has gone on.
Well, let's allude to that, because Eddie did in his rectangle table on, when was that, Wednesday, Thursday? When was that?
Thursday.
Okay. In that rectangular table on Thursday, and Eddie was asked, do you support Paul Weir? And he said, I support all my coaches, including Paul Weir. And, I don't have my notes in front of me, but it was either in that answer or in another point that Eddie made. He said he's made it very clear to his coaches that he's holding them accountable, and that they're going to have to hold their student athletes accountable, and that he's holding his coaches accountable. That was said publicly, I believe, for the first time. And I know Eddie has said that to his coaches probably sometime within the last month, right? They were all made aware of that. So it's interesting because while it was said to the media on Thursday, JJ, it's not like that was the first time it was said to the coaches. Yeah. But does that make – it's a really good point that you bring up. And I asked Grammer that yesterday when he and I were texting back and forth, and we'll ask him again at 9 o'clock. But because it came out in the media, because it was said publicly, is that something that Paul said, well, this is what they want me to do? And these guys, we have punctuality issues, and one of them threw a tantrum, and they didn't show up on time. And so I'm doing what the boss wants me to do. And Jaquan Lyle's playing 33 minutes. Okay. And that's where the whispers are coming from, where people are concerned about the discipline on this team. Is this team together? And
it goes back to the Nevada game, really, when we're talking about Jaquan Lyle, not like after serving that suspension. There's rumors, a lot of stuff that went down over the weekend with Lyle and maybe some of his punctuality issues, and yet he shows up in that Nevada game and is getting that kind of run. And then it was
truancy.
Yes, and it was tweeted and then deleted by Van Jackson yesterday. If y'all only know the true story.
Well, and I think that's really what's going on. And we're hearing so many whispers, and they're not even whispers anymore, right? I mean, they're coming out of everywhere on that ship. And never mind the next 2 to 3 to however many more games there are, right? It's this thing's pointing in a direction. Do you see any chance? I don't want to be naysayer guy. I'm going to Vegas. I'm hoping they're playing for a bunch of days. Like, I'd like to see him play Thursday and Friday, aside from just Wednesday. But do you see a path? I mean, what makes you think? Like, I don't even know that right now they're matched up against San Jose State. I don't know that I think they get through San Jose State right now.
I can see them winning one game.
I could see them losing both, or losing the first one.
But if they lost the first one, I wouldn't be shocked because
Utah State, right?
Of what we've
or San Diego
seen.
State,
yeah. What we've seen out of this Lobo team, and the expectations are so incredibly low now for this basketball team. It's not like they weren't initially, and we've watched the struggles over the last couple of weeks and even 2 months now with what's happened, the roster turnover, everything that's coming out, but it just keeps building and building. It's not getting better. They're not getting by these issues. It just feels like they keep getting worse for this basketball team.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. All right, 505-246-0610. We're going to talk more about it. 888-922-0610. You can get in Jeff at 610knml.com and JJ at 610knml.com. Find us on the internet, on the Twitter. It's _JJ Buck, and on the Facebook. The OD in the AM. Guest 8:15, Chris Jans, New Mexico State's head basketball coach. Aggies lifted another trophy, cut down some nets on Saturday. We'll get into the rest of the craziness in college basketball. There are no more undefeateds. Who's going to be number one? Well, I think we know who number one is. But now, what about the other ones in the tournament? What does it mean for San Diego State? And are they now vulnerable, and does it open up for everybody as we head to Vegas next week? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
The world-famous Laguna Burger is beautifully handcrafted. A burger that's created from certified Angus beef, sinfully cooked to juicy perfection, and garnished with New Mexico's Hatch green chili. Tempt your taste buds with mouth-watering fresh ingredients.
Cut! We're gonna need another Laguna Burger. Try the irresistible, world-famous Laguna Burger. Visit thelagunaburger.com. It's fresh with a kick. Take 32.
Lava Rock Brewing Company, conveniently located on Albuquerque's west side, just south of I-40. You can come on in, enjoy our pizza, pasta, burgers, and more by Matucci's. It's all at Lava Rock. Lava Rock Brewing Company, come on in.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
What is glamour? Frailty. What is desire? Diamonds. They say a life lived without passion is hardly worth living.
Ma'am? Ma'am? Ma'am?
Dang, this one made me feel all special.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
The Lascombe family has been growing and crafting wine in New Mexico since 1981. Formerly known as St. Clair Winery, we're going back to our roots and honoring our founders, Danielle and Hervé Lascombe. Today, our D.H. Lascombe Winery and Bistro locations continue to deliver the exceptional wine and food experience you've come to expect from the Lascombe family. Visit us and enjoy a culmination of our 6th-generation winemaking legacy and unique, perfectly paired foods. D.H. Lascombe Winery and Bistro.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, hashtag life change will occur.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green.
Got emails coming in, texts already. Paul Weir has to go. He's awful. That's what I got. That's the first one I got today.
Sounds like Paul Weir has to go. Paul Weir has to go.
I don't know, man. Look. This is, I feel for Paul in a lot of respects because I feel like this, well, first of all, I think he's a good guy. I think he was a good coach. He did a really nice job the first year. This felt to me, when I saw it and I heard him talk about it, felt like year one to me. And I know I brought up that in the last couple of weeks, right? What was the difference? And in year one, you'd leave Anthony Jackson at home, or he'd leave. There were a lot of discipline issues, and he was kind of setting the culture and here's how it's going to be. This one felt to me like, well, we had punctuality issues. You're not going to play. I'm going to put out the guys who are showing up punctually on time, and it's I don't know. It's not going to win any games. And Jeff asked him after the game, are you in rebuild? Right? Is this? Are you in rebuild for next year? You still got a tournament. He says, well, I can see how, paraphrasing, I can see how it looks that way, but no, we just wanted to shake things up, and we weren't getting it done with that lineup, and we got other guys who have been showing progress and improving. And
to me, it's one or the other. It can't be punctuality and wanting to shake it up. If you're benching essentially 3 players for a half and then 1 for an entire game,
feels that way, right? I mean, it would feel that way.
Yeah. Those guys are playing not because you wanted new energy; it's because something happened earlier in the week.
Yeah, I mean, you got to pick a reason to stick to it. And unless he was going to do this anyway, right? And maybe that's why they threw the tantrum because, we'll talk to Jeff. Is that why your guy wasn't getting enough runs in practice because Kirk Vegscheider and Jordan Arroyo were, and Emmanuel Quach? Was that the plan anyway? Is that where? Look, I'm looking for some hope for you, and I'm really, really, really struggling finding it. Also over the weekend. And you had a big, weird, crazy college basketball weekend. One went down. That was Baylor losing at home 64-61 to Kansas. Look, when one loses to 3, you kind of say, all right, I get it. Right?
Yes. Not shocking.
All right.
And that those 2 teams just beat each other.
When 2 gets blown out of the building 91-78 on the road, you open your eyes.
Yes.
Gonzaga.
All of a sudden, the warts, quote-unquote, for Gonzaga, the national guys, losing their mind because they don't watch more than one college basketball game before March Madness, and that's kind of nonsense you get on national radio at times. BYU is really good, and they do have a tremendous post player in Real Childs, who had 26 and 10. The energy in that building was phenomenal. It was like old-school BYU basketball, what you'd get. TJ Haas, who turned 47 on Thursday, was enjoying senior night, so, of course, you're going to have some experience in that backcourt.
Number 4 went down to an unranked team. San Diego State loses at home 66-63 to UNLV. Mitru Long is the difference maker for the Rebels. And to your point, the national pundits can now say, told you they're not that good and they don't play anybody. San Diego State couldn't make a shot in the first half. It was one of those where you're watching them and they move the ball well. And there's Fagan for a wide open shot that always goes, nope, didn't hit it. Shekel, wide open 3, no. Malachi Flynn missed. They missed at the rim all second half, and UNLV beat them 66-63.
He still thought it was going to somehow, some way be an Aztec win with what they did down the stretch.
When Flynn hit that 3,
and then when Flynn was hitting the threes, got them within 1. But Mitru Long, when he's on, he's the difference maker for this team offensively. UNLV, seen it firsthand, the backcourt, what Hamilton and Coleman can do. But when Mitru Long is in there adding offensively, that's a pesky team. That's a team you're like, okay, they can get you on any given day.
Number 7 went down. Maryland goes down yesterday. They lose at Ohio State. So you've got...
That's a plus for the Aztecs still being in that 1 seed.
If you want them to be in the 1 seed.
Yeah. Now, the conversation is, well, they lost, and now it's better for them if they go to 2 in the West.
It's absolutely better for them to be 2
either way, 1 or 2.
It's absolutely better for them to be 2 in the West. To me, it's not even assuming you get through the first weekend in Sacramento, which is an assumption.
Yeah.
But to me, it's inarguable. Now, you'd want to be a 1, say you're 1 the first time in school history, you're 1. All of those things, the first Mountain West team to be a 1, all those things would be great. But the path to get to the Final Four, to go through Los Angeles as opposed to go through New York City for San Diego State, it's inarguable. So you had all that. And then down in Las Cruces. Aggies win 78-62. Jabari Rice goes for 20. They do Hall of Fame night down there. Aggies won 16 in a row. New Mexico State 13-0 in WAC play. New Mexico State has the longest winning streak in college basketball right now. It was San Diego State. After that was Baylor. And after that was Gonzaga. They all got beat over the weekend. Also, and this is and I already hear it come up, this isn't right. Dayton's undefeated, and I think it's them and Dayton are the only 2 teams who are still undefeated in conference play. Dayton is 14-0 in the Atlantic 10, and New Mexico State is 13-0 in the Western Athletic Conference. 2 teams undefeated, and they probably dropped in the net rankings with another win. I don't know what you make of them. I don't know what the national.
Yes, New Mexico State has been dropping in the rankings.
They have. No, I know they have been. Yes, I know they have. They've won 13 in a row. 16 in a row. They're 7-3 away from home. They are WAC champions again. They'll be the 1 seed. They go to Grand Canyon on Thursday to take on Team Talk a Lot, and then they'll be in Bakersfield. What they do is just they keep winning, and I got it, and I hear where it's coming, and I understand what their league is. Now, last year their league made a lot of progress. Last year their league was ranked on all the metrics, right there even with the Mountain West. They've taken a step backwards this year. But last I checked, they didn't turn down an invitation from your league or anybody else's league to go join them. And one thing I do, I saw a lot on social media. Remember, the Lobos beat them twice. The Lobos are better than them. All right. You want them right now? Who would you take right now?
Oh, right now I would take New Mexico State.
But the Lobos did beat them twice. They did sweep them, and you can't take that away from them.
Completely different basketball team at that point in time, too.
What do you make of them? Because right now they're clicking. They're as healthy as they're going to be.
Yeah, this is, and we've bounced back and forth on this. While they're undefeated, I think there's a sense from everyone, and I think even some on that team, that maybe they're not as good as last year, but they're still good enough. Like, you give them credit because there's good teams in bad leagues that aren't going undefeated because it's not easy to do. The difference is, they're playing probably some tighter games than they would like at this point in time, but I think that's just the way that they're constructed. Losing Queen for a few games, not having that guy who's going to go off on a consistent basis. Now, they'll have guys that will give you 20. Now, maybe one night it's McCants or Okechea going off. Maybe it's Jabari Rice. But they haven't had that consistent offensive factor like other teams have had in the past. But they're really good defensively. They're physical. And to me, what stands out is what they do in the tight moments, that they've had to win games on a final shot. They'd have been in one-possession games and pulled it out. Now, rankings-wise, ultimately doesn't do good for your net when you're playing close games against bad teams, but what it does for you is you're undefeated, you have to cut down nets again, and you're 1 seed heading to Las Vegas.
Yeah, I think they defend, which means they can be in games. I told you my concern about them, and I'll talk to Chris about it as well. Jans will be with us at 8:15, their head coach. I just, and maybe not as much of late, but they've had some scoring droughts over the year. And that's what scares me a little bit going into conference play. They've dropped to 123 in net. 123 in net. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. Want your thoughts on the college basketball weekend? You had Lakers and Celtics yesterday. LeBron with a big day. Jason Tatum with a big day for the Celtics. We had good NBA over the we can get into Fury and Wilder. Your thoughts on the fight? We got baseball stuff. Astros played a game. They got the Kobe Gianna thing today. We have a bunch to do.
Stealing signs. Are the Houston Astros
real physical, actual signs? and I don't know if it's them. Is it them? Is it the security?
It's the organization.
Yeah, they're stealing literally stealing signs.
Easiest joke of the weekend.
You know what? It's like being around here. People stealing too much, way too much. Don't be a victim of having your stuff stolen. Don't be a victim of property crime. Call IPS, International Protective Service. See, the bad guys don't care about you, your home, your business. They just want to steal your stuff. Don't let it happen. Put IPS to work for you. IPS cares about your business, about your home. Their job is to stop break-ins before they happen because it happens too often. Business owners go home, they get a call in the middle of the night, or they show up in the morning and their place has been vandalized. It takes a long time to recover. IPS is a security company. It provides highly trained armed guards to watch your business when you can't be there. The full-time patrol or part-time patrol. And if your alarm goes off, IPS responds within 5 to 7 minutes with armed, trained security officers. Police may take hours to show up, and that's way, way, way too long. IPS protects homes and businesses. While you're there, while you're out of town, call them. You need peace of mind. IPS can deliver. 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420 or go to ipsglobal.com.
Good morning, sports animals. Time is 7:29. Let's take another look at that morning commute. We have an accident southbound I-25. That one's going to be between Cesar Chavez and Gibson. We're starting to see some minor congestion in that area. Then we have an accident eastbound Rio Bravo. That's going to be at Prince Street. We're starting to see some backup form in that area as well. And if you do see any other accidents, please give us a call at the Traffic Tracker hotline at 767-9167. Brought to you by American Home Furniture Outlet and Clearance Center at I-25 in Comanche. From the 96.3 News Radio KKOB Traffic Center, I'm Micah Turman with your sports animal traffic.
Where sports and culture meet the weekend.
Local events,
concerts,
spectacles,
what's happening,
pulse of the city,
sports, and much more.
Hey guys, come join the conversation with Van and Fred every Saturday starting at 7 a.m.
ABQ Central, Saturdays from 7 a.m. till 9 on The Sports Animal.
Drive a better SUV for less money at Quality on Lomas. Our few remaining 2019 Buick Encores now start at just $18,944. Quality Buick GMC, Lomas in Pennsylvania.
Quality by DiLorenzo.
QualityDeal.com.
We're headed to Vegas, baby. It's Jeff Siembieda, and the opening drive will be live from Las Vegas, Nevada, starting March 4th. We'll be watching the Lobos in the Mountain West tournament, where the competition will be fierce. Can the Lobos make a run in the arena once known as Pit West, or will top-ranked San Diego State take it all? I'll bring you all the latest and the news from Las Vegas, so don't miss a minute. Our Las Vegas coverage is sponsored by 1-800-TRUCK-WRECK, American Home Furniture and Mattress, Hooters, Airport Parking, and Rudy Chavez, attorney at law.
It's not about the credit card. It's about experiencing that first flight. It's not about the auto loan. It's about your son's first car. At Kirtland Federal Credit Union, it's not about banking or loans. It's about people. It's about managing your finances easy so you can spend your time on more important things. Start your journey today at kirtlandfcu.org. Kirtland Federal Credit Union. We're more than military. We're for life.
Federally insured by NCUA. Equal opportunity lender. Approval and rate based on creditworthiness and other factors. Membership eligibility required. See a representative for complete details.
The following statement is from a paparazzi who claims to have witnessed Hulu's reality TV house party. All right, so here's some Bravo drama. I catch Melissa Gorga going from her hotel to this party in Beverly Hills, and the first thing I see when I get there is Jax Taylor leaving. They say he got into some argument with Captain Lee over their social media feud, or could have been a beef with James Kennedy. Whatever, I got the shot. Reality or not, we'll never know. What we do know, Hulu has reality TV. Start your free trial today. Learn more at hulu.com.
Dear Winter, you're back, and I see you brought your friends sleet, snow, ice, and slush with you. Luckily, two of my top sled dogs, the Tundra and the Tacoma, are revving to go. They drive with a whole bunch of terrain tackling, weather-ready features, like active traction control, available four-wheel drive, and projector beam headlights. And you can get a deal and save a little cold, hard cash, too. Can't wait to chill together. Toyota.
Get 1.9% APR financing for 60 months on a new 2020 Tacoma with $1,748 per $1,000 borrowed, or get $1,250 cash back on a new Tacoma. Offers end March 2nd. Toyota, let's go places.
Four-wheel traction control and four-wheel drive mode only. Rear-wheel traction control and two-wheel drive mode. Excludes TRD Pro and model number 7593. APR and approved credit from Toyota Financial Services. Cashback savings from Toyota Motor Sales USA Inc. Does not include college, grad, and military rebate. Must be applied to the transaction. No cash payment will be paid to consumer. Varies by region. See dealer for details. Offers end March 2nd.
Visit Toyota of Santa Fe, Larry H. Miller Toyota Albuquerque, or Larry H. Miller American Toyota. For more information, visit toyota.com. Toyota. Now, listen to KNML AM 610 on Alexa, supported by Indeed. Say, Alexa, enable the KNML AM 610 skill. Then say, Alexa, play KNML AM 610.
Fresquez Productions presents March Madness, a night of pro boxing Saturday, March 7th at Isleta Resort and Casino. Matthew Diamond Boy Griego versus Ronnie Baldonado. Tickets from $25 at Isleta.com. Cards subject to change. March Madness, March 7th at Isleta Resort and Casino.
America is a great big country.
Filled with all kinds of different people.
And we all count.
That's why the 2020 census
wants to make sure we're all counted.
Why is it so important?
Because the census helps inform how hundreds of billions of dollars will be spent each year for things like
new roads, health clinics,
even more school programs.
So make sure you're counted.
Because you count.
Shape your future. Start here. Learn more at 2020census.gov. Paid for by U.S. Census Bureau.
Sound off right now at 246-0610. Brought to you by Kwan's Auto Care Collision and Repair. 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
Lobos have lost 4 in a row. They'll be at Air Force on Wednesday. It's a late game, right?
Wednesday 7, and then the senior night is the late game on Saturday. against Utah State.
Ladies go tonight at home. Because their tournament starts this weekend, so they go on Monday and Thursday this week, and then back at it in Vegas over the weekend to start the tournament. Air Force is in the pit tonight. Final home game for the ladies. 6:30 is when Josh Sushan, Nikki Heckroth-Lobata will crack the microphone from Albertsons Radio Row at Dreamstyle Arena. The pit. And then they go back at it on Thursday against Utah State up in Logan and then go to Vegas. 505-246-0610. That's how to get in today. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck. All right, this stat was put out by the Boise State Sports Information Department, and Grammer put it in his one of his stories over the weekend. Over the last 6 seasons, Mountain West basketball. Let me preface this. So you think of we talk about the Lobos as being one of those premier programs in the league, not teams this year, but when we talk about the league as constructed, we say San Diego State, New Mexico, and UNLV, and pick your order depending on where you are geographically, right? UNLV, San Diego State, New Mexico, whatever. Those are the teams, and maybe even Nevada. No, those are the premier teams in this league, right? Those teams, when they're good, the league is better. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Boise State has won at least 11 conference games 5 of the past 6 seasons. Okay, Jeff. Fine. If you don't know the answer, and you probably have read it by now, but over the same 6 seasons, Micah, how many times do you think over the last 6 seasons, global basketball has won 11 games? Boise State's done it 5 times over the last 6 seasons. They've won at least 11 games. How many times do you think the Lobos men's basketball team has won 11 games over the last 6 seasons?
Once.
One time. They went 12-6 in the 17-18 season. That was Paul Weir's first season. They won't this year. They didn't the last three of Craig. I don't know what that tells you. Tells you that you lost to a program that's a good program in your league. But it puts a lot of things in perspective, doesn't it?
It's the traditional mindset of Mountain West basketball, where it's like it's San Diego State, it's UNLV, New Mexico. But the last few, Boise State's been successful. Leon Rice has done a good job. Eric Musselman's run at Nevada re-upped that program. And what we've seen at times,
Utah State.
And now Utah State. So that's kind of just the been there, done that since the beginning mindset of those 3 programs, but consistency-wise, and Boise State's up there. Leon Rice has done a fantastic job at that program, and you think they were going to fall off. When you go back to, was it Derek Marks and the other backcourt player, I can't remember his name right now, but when they had some really good teams, like, oh, how are you going to sustain this? Well, then he finds a Chandler Hutchinson who went next level in the NBA, was really good for them. Derek Alston slides in, and they're just a consistent basketball team in this league.
Yeah. And the Lobos are struggling and have lost 4 in a row, and defensively it's rough. All right, ladies lost over the weekend too. Ron says maybe JJ can respond what he thinks wrong with Lady Lobos since he had the best seat in the house on Saturday. JJ called the game on the Mountain West Network, the TV side. They got run out of the building by Boise State. And do you see any hope there? I mean, is there a run in them?
Yeah, Boise State outscored New Mexico 24-10 in the fourth quarter. Lobos led 46-43 at half, hitting shots. They hit 7 3-point shots in the first half and 0 in the second half. And the thing that they struggle with is defense, so they're going to be in shootouts. And so when they started missing their shots and forcing some in the second half, they just couldn't keep up. It's their team. If they hit shots that they're running, high possession game, they're going to have a chance. The mission shots, they're not going to get it back on the defensive end. And boy, was Boise State big. Oh my goodness. Mallory McGuire, 6'5" post to transfer from Oregon, 5 blocks. Just dominant presence.
Yeah.
Just towered over everyone on that floor.
Another rough year. It's insane when you think that both men and women's basketball are going to play on the first day of the conference tournament, right? Both probably finish in the 8th slot. Is that kind of what we're looking at right now?
Yeah, as on Saturday, the women were 9th.
Okay, 8th or 9th.
Yeah,
in an 11-team league. Football went 2-10. I mean, it's this wasn't what we're looking for when we're sitting here in August with all this optimism running around here. And you went through that football season and said, yeah, but wait till basketball, wait till basketball. Oh, Lyle's back. Oh, we got Lyle and Bragg, and wait till
and it
basketball.
Was the expectations. The Saturday on the court, it was a preseason number 1 in Boise State and the preseason number 2 in UNM. And now Boise State,
first game of the year.
Yeah, and that first UNM lost by 1 in overtime at Boise back on December 4th. Yeah. But Boise State, they've lost some games in conference play, but that's a team that rounded back into form. And while Fresno State ran away with the regular season title, they're in second place. And now the Lobos, everything that's gone on, 2 players leaving, trying to figure themselves out. The 3 players for the women. I like the backcourt, but if they're not hitting shots, then it's a team that can defend them, then it's going to be a long night. And you saw that in that fourth quarter. And Boise State definitely looked like a team that can push Fresno State when you get to Las Vegas.
Yeah. All right. 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. Chris Jan's scheduled to be with us. The New Mexico State coach coming up at 8:15 this morning. We'll talk to him about his WAC regular season championship team, the New Mexico State Aggies, who have the longest win streak in America. 9 o'clock, Jeff Grammer will be with us. He covers Louisville basketball for the Albuquerque Journal. Hey, no one does home equity loans and lines of credit like Kirtland Federal Credit Union does. Home equity is the value in your home, and a home equity loan or a line of credit lets you turn that value into cash or credit. So does your home need a new bathroom or a kitchen or maybe just some upgrades? Check out Kirtland Federal Credit Union's home equity offerings. With Kirtland Federal Credit Union, there are 0 closing costs, and that could save you thousands of dollars on your home equity loan or line of credit. It's easy to apply, and you can use your cash or credit for anything. An upgrade, an event, any expense you may have. Stop by and see the experts at Kirtland Federal Credit Union's Home Loan Center. It's at the corner of Jefferson and Osuna. Kirtland Federal Credit Union, they are more than military. They are for life. Kirtland Federal Credit Union is an equal housing lender, federally insured by the NCUA.
The world-famous Laguna Burger is beautifully handcrafted. A burger that's created from certified Angus beef, sinfully cooked to juicy perfection, and garnished with New Mexico's Hatch green chili. Tempt your taste buds with mouth-watering fresh ingredients.
Cut! We're gonna need another Laguna Burger. Try the irresistible, world-famous Laguna Burger. Visit thelagunaburger.com. It's fresh with a kick. Take 32.
Lava Rock Brewing Company, conveniently located on Albuquerque's west side, just south of I-40. You can come on in, enjoy our pizza, pasta, burgers, and more by Matucci's. It's all at Lava Rock. Lava Rock Brewing Company, come on in.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
What is glamour? Frailty. What is desire? Diamonds. They say a life lived without passion is hardly worth living.
Ma'am? Ma'am? Ma'am?
Dang, this one made me feel all special.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
The Lascombe family has been growing and crafting wine in New Mexico since 1981. Formerly known as St. Clair Winery, we're going back to our roots and honoring our founders, Danielle and Hervé Lascombe. Today, our D.H. Lascombe Winery and Bistro locations continue to deliver the exceptional wine and food experience you've come to expect from the Lascombe family. Visit us and enjoy a culmination of our 6th-generation winemaking legacy and unique, perfectly paired foods. D.H. Lascombe Winery and Bistro.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, hashtag life change will occur.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green.
And keep the community green as well.
Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment.
You trash it,
we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Local Union 412. Find a career with benefits and not just a job at UA Local 412 Training Center. We are looking for plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC tech apprentices and journeymen. Call 505-256-9257. Local Union.
All right, Chris Jan's coming up at 8:15. Jeff Grammer at the top of the 9 o'clock hour. We'll talk basketball. March is around the corner. In fact, it's on Saturday. Isn't that right? Or Sunday? Is it Sunday? Mm-hmm. Leap Day is on Saturday. Leap Day, Micah. You having a big Leap Day party?
Of course.
Really? He didn't even invite you, did he? Did I let the cat out of the bag? Dan wants to know why Hoser's no longer with the show. Did he throw his award in the trash and yell, "I'm done," Jeffrey, Juan Jose, and Micah John? As for the Lady Lobos, as much as Bradbury griped about those early conference games, can you imagine going up to Taco Bell Arena now with this lineup?
It would probably look like it did on
what's
Saturday.
The difference? How was the crowd? Like sitting in the crowd and listen. I don't know how much you could hear with your headset on. Is it the same? Just a smaller.
They announced 5,300, and it felt small to me.
But I'm thinking more of the tone of the crowd. Mm-hmm. Where are they? Because Bradbury after the game was like, "We're fine." Bradbury's changed this year. I don't know if if you've sensed it. Just his post-game press conference. I think everything that's gone on this year with Bradbury. My feel is he's changed this year, and we'll get Nikki in here maybe. Maybe this week.
Good right before the tournament.
Yeah, but with the players leaving, with the the attempted mutiny, and then the players, the former players, and standing up for him and writing that letter. And I just feel he's different this year. They're losing, and losing is going to obviously have effect on everybody. You forget how long this season is, right? You open this thing up in October practices with all the expectations, and you got a roster. And you got that email coming from Bourne or whoever it is that sends the annual email. Where's all the playing time coming from, Jeff? There's only so many balls, and they're going to transfer. And all right, and then you hit this time of the year, and it's where are they getting scoring from? Who's playing defense? Wow, that team sure as hell looks a lot different than it did when we hit the floor in November. You forget. I mean, it's a long run. It's a long run, and both of these coaches right now look like it's been a long run, don't they?
Yes, very much so. And you're right on Bradbury. He's changed a little bit. He's gone through it, and I think it's something that we've talked about it during his tenure here. Just the difference in support, people caring, having to address things he probably never had to address in the past when it comes to his team or a performance in a game, and. No, I think when you look at it, the big thing for me is when we were trying to piece it all together and really what's happening, what's going on, a lot of social media posts. The letter that came out in support of him, I think it was big for him in terms of the confidence and then how he kind of then handled things moving forward with his basketball team.
Yeah, I think all that's right. I think, but it's got to affect you, man. Mm-hmm. It's got to affect you. You know, when people are talking about you, when results aren't going well, what you've done, and to his defense, what he's done and done fairly successfully for a whole career has been called into question the way he does it, right? Because I'm sure he's coached a certain way. His style has got him the success that he's earned. And it feels to me like he's been fairly consistent, and this year he's had a change. Whereas Paul, I think it's been different on this year, certainly, than it was the previous year. I'm really interested in Louisville fans' thoughts.
It is different, and one of the things I tweeted out yesterday in some of the conversations and responses I was getting, there was someone that hit me up and was just like, I just want to see 5 players on the floor play hard. Yeah. Like just 5 players like playing as a team. And my response was, maybe deflections weren't such a bad idea. Like, just thinking of having some accountability, putting some emphasis on these guys, because you got to recall at the end of last year, people were done with that. Like, why is he starting lineups with deflections? What is this mess? Talent this, talent that. Well, you came in a year where you thought you had a bunch of talent, and then it all went wonky when a couple got suspended, and then there's some attitude issues, and here we are.
Yep. Oh, that's right. Hey, remember, we're going to Vegas next week. It's what we do for you, and we'll be there. The opening drive is going to be live from Las Vegas. We'll see the Lobos in the Mountain West Conference Tournament. The opening drive will be live at the Thomas and Mack Center starting on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. We want to thank our 5 great conference tournament sponsors who are making sure that we're there for you. Hooters, your college hoops headquarters. Airport parking, park for less than half the price of Sunport parking. Rudy Chavez, attorney at law. Remember, Saul calls Rudy. 1-800-TRUCK-WRECK. Call attorney Clay Miller at 1-800-TRUCK-WRECK. At American Home Furniture and Mattress, they guarantee you will pay less. I really want your thoughts on the lineups, the explanation on the lineups on Saturday, and where you are. We'll get into the fight. You saw the fight.
Did.
So you and I were on Fury. You two were on Wilder. Fury took it to him. That thing
Fury dominated the fight.
Dominated the fight. He's just so much bigger. And as powerful as Wilder is, Fury's got, 45 pounds on him?
Yeah, I was fascinated by the build-up, by the coverage of this fight. The networks, actually Fox and ESPN, working together throughout the week. That's how you promote a fight, because they were getting it in absolutely everywhere. And it caught my attention. I was drawn in. And it was a very interesting night with the conversations that happened beforehand, leading in there for Fury with people questioning, well, he must not carry 270 pounds. And then you watch that man step into the ring and realize, oh, everyone who said that was very, very
30.
All right, 505-246, want to hear from you. Celebration of life for Kobe and Gianna Bryant today at the Staples Center. That's going to be at 11 o'clock our time. You can get in on that, too. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, Micah, J Pro over on ProView Networks. You can watch the show there, ProViewNetworks.com or our Facebook page, the OD and the AM. It's 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
The king of sports talk radio, Jim Rome.
If you don't say that you've been listening to me for 20 years, I say to you that is like maybe the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
The Jim Rome Show, weekdays at 10.
But it's really hard for me to say that, Broham, when you disarm me by saying, hey, Rome, great show, you're a good dude, I've been listening for 20 years. How do I then respond by saying, that's the stupidest idea I think I've ever heard?
95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Fresquez Productions presents March Madness, a night of pro boxing, Saturday, March 7th at Isleta Resort and Casino. Matthew Diamond Boy Griego versus Ronnie Baldonado. Tickets from $25 at Isleta.com. Cards up to the king. March Madness, March 7th at Isleta Resort and Casino.
Fat Tuesday and Mardi Gras are fast approaching, and you don't have to be in New Orleans to throw back more than beads into blooms. If you're going to drink, take a ride on us. Together, we can end DWI. The Sports Animal is partnered with Ron Bell Injury Lawyers, the City of Albuquerque, the Department of Family and Community Services, Bernalillo County Department of Behavioral Services, Sandoval County DWI Prevention, and Uber to help end DWI. So put on your best purple, gold, and green, grab your best throws, and get ready to pass a good time. If you're going to drink, open the Uber app now and enter the code MG2020. After the festivities, request an Uber, and we'll pay up to $10 for your ride. This offer is good for the first 600 people who use the code from noon on Tuesday, February 25th through 3 a.m. on Wednesday, February 26th. This program can only be used for rides and not Uber Eats, and the offer does not cover tip. Enjoy Mardi Gras 2020 and take a ride on us. Together, we can end DWI.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details. Need cash but have bad credit or maxed out cards? Now you can get a personal loan for up to $5,000, whatever your credit, with no paperwork. 27cash.com is one of the nation's largest personal loan networks. If you have a checking account and a regular income source, you can get cash in your account as soon as tomorrow. Type this into your smartphone or computer address bar. www.27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Hey, it's Michael Carlisle. By now, you've probably seen commercials from national companies that promote 100% online mortgage loan with no human interaction. Don't fall for it. I suggest you call Ben Lucero at Indigo Mortgage instead. On the surface, an online mortgage loan might sound easy, but applying for a mortgage isn't like buying a new pair of shoes. You're a real person making a real decision on the biggest financial transaction of your life. You gotta ask, is the real person for the 100% online lenders for the benefit of you, the consumer, or for them, the company? Mortgages are very complex and more than just plugging numbers in and locking in a rate. You might have questions, and have a friendly, caring professional is the only way to get the answers you need. You're not a transaction, you're a person. Nobody cares more about your mortgage loan than Ben Lucero and his team at Indigo Mortgage. Call them at 836-5700 or visit them at indigomortgage.net. A local lender who wants what's best for you, 836-5700.
NMLS 188348.
TJ Trout here, and are you up for the New Mexico Trout Challenge? Every angler that competes the challenge gets a Trout Challenge coin, bragging rights, and their name in the New Mexico Trout Challenge Hall of Fame. For more information, go to the New Mexico Department of Game and Fish website.
America is a great big country.
Filled with all kinds of different people.
And we all count.
That's why the 2020 census
wants to make sure we're all counted.
Why is it so important?
Because the census helps inform how hundreds of billions of dollars will be spent each year for things like
new roads, health clinics,
even more school programs.
So make sure you're counted.
Because you count.
Shape your future. Start here. Learn more at 2020census.gov. Paid for by U.S. Census Bureau.
Mom, delivery!
You've been loading up on things from Walmart. Yeah, I used my new Capital One Walmart Rewards card. It earns unlimited 5% back on everything I buy from Walmart online. Say what? 5% back. Say what? 5% back.
Say what now?
5% back!
With what?
The Capital One Walmart Rewards card. Earn unlimited rewards, including 5% back at Walmart online on top of Walmart's everyday low prices. What's in your wallet?
Terms and exclusions apply. Capital One USA NA.
This hour's free money national keyword is fun. F-U-N. Text it at 95819 for your chance to win. K240BL Albuquerque is 95.9 FM and 610 AM. KNML Albuquerque.
All right, Chris Jan's going to come up next segment about 15 minutes from now. We're going to try to actually stay on time, Micah. What do you think? I mean, that'd be cool. Jeff, JJ, Micah, Josh produces for you over on the ProView Networks this morning. Happy Monday to you. Opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Lobos lose 74-61 in Boise. Aggies beat UTRGV and win their 16th straight, nation's longest winning streak, and win the WAC again. Get into Gonzaga's loss if you want. Kansas, Baylor. Lobo women. Fury Wilder. Baseball. Lobo baseball swept Northern Colorado over the weekend. Nice series sweep for them. They took the doubleheader yesterday. 505-246-0610. We'll get more into the fight, all right? I know you get to watch it. Fury's a beast, huh?
He was.
Fury's a
phenomenal
big man. I love listening to him talk, too. All right, Mark, get us started. What's up?
Hey, earlier in the show, you made a comment that Coach Weir had indicated that the discipline came about because his boss wanted it. If that is a true statement, boy, that could be the worst case scenario.
So Mark, hold on. Let me get it straight. So what I said is, on Thursday, Eddie Nunez did say that he has let his coaches know that he expects them to hold their players accountable, and he's holding them accountable. So now, whenever that message was sent to the players, I don't know. I can't tell you exactly that's why Weir did what he did. I can tell you that it coincided, obviously, with that coming out on Thursday, but I also do know that Eddie Nunez made that known to his coaches weeks ago.
Okay, and that's fair. But if it came about because of what Eddie Nunez told him, boy, this is a deeper problem, because discipline should be from the beginning of the season, from practice, everything else throughout the entire year, and that should come from the coach, and nobody else should remind the coach, any sport, that is, in fact, the way things should run at a university.
Yeah, and I don't know that that's the reason, Mark. I don't know that. I mean, he certainly didn't say that's the reason. I don't know that it is. You're piecing things together as we go, and or maybe there have been no punctuality issues prior to this, and this was the first one all season, which I know not to be the truth. So,
okay,
all right, man. Right? I mean, is that fair?
Yeah, everyone sees this. And everyone was wondering with all the stuff that went on, specifically with Jaquan Lyle, and then you get to this point and see what happened with Hendricks and then Martin and McGee not playing Martin not playing the first half and then coming in the second half. It's a lot of questions. The what ifs roll on. Why now? Why not earlier? Just trying to piece it all together.
Not that guy. Yeah. What's up, Ken? You are on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline.
Hey guys. So Marvin Menzies is the coach at New Mexico State. Most of the seasons he's there. They have an okay preseason, not fantastic, but pretty good. They get into conference, and they go on a 15, 20-game win streak. They win the conference. They go to the first round of the NCAA tournament, and they lose in the first round. And they're halfway competitive. Bring in Paul Weir, same thing with Weir at State. They get into conference. They go on a big winning streak, win the conference, lose in the first round. Kind of competitive in the first round, not bad. Then bring in Chris Jans, same thing. Preseason, not so great, average. Gets into conference, has the nation's longest win streak. And I have a question: when is the last time the Aggies played a ranked team in their conference?
In their conference? It would probably
in their
go,
conference.
yeah, it'd probably go all the way back to when Nevada was still in the WAC. Yeah, though they haven't played.
Right.
There hasn't been a ranked team in their conference. I would tell you that last couple of years, I would tell you that Chris has been better than mediocre. Now this year they were okay. They did beat Mississippi State non-conference. They've had some signature wins out of conference the last couple of years. But your point is
Okay.
Go ahead.
So here's my point. So Menzies does this, then gets rewarded or whatever you want to call it.
The Vegas
job at UNLV, gets a decent conference, decent profile job, and gets fired. We think, hey man, he went on this win streak. He's fantastic. He's here. He's just not producing. Can't cut it. And so my advice to Chris Jans when he comes on the air is stay where you're at, man, because you have such a cush situation where they can recruit there. They could definitely recruit at New Mexico State. They have a decent profile for that level of basketball. But once they get like in a decent conference, nope, they're just not good enough, and that's what's going to happen to Weir. Weir is just not where this program needs him to be. When you're playing, a much improved Nevada team from when the season started, when you're playing Utah State, when you're playing ranked San Diego State, this is a whole different animal than what they were playing in the WAC and what they're playing in now with Grand Canyon coming in.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
Well, and Ken, last year I think JJ they were 3-0 against the WAC with their sweep against Mountain West with their sweep against New Mexico. This year I believe, and I'm looking it up right now, they're 1-2 I think against the Mountain West. Right, they beat Colorado State. They lost twice to the Lobos.
Would you guys give me that though? That is a pattern?
Yeah, no, that's a fair pattern. But I would put them
Years.
in this league. Would you say if you put them in this league, they're upper echelon, like they're fighting for 2, 3, 4, 5 spot?
Well, the only thing we can go on is the facts. We can debate that all day. Well, maybe not. But the facts are they go on a nation-leading win streak once they hit conference.
Yeah, no,
every
that's right.
coach does that.
Yeah,
every coach does from Menzies
you're right.
to recent memory.
Yeah, but the fact is they haven't turned down being in a better league. They've made it known they're dying to be in a better league. The fact is right. The fact is right. Yes.
And the point of this whole call is basically saying, Lobo fans, just be aware when you say, well, he did this at New Mexico State. Where's the same guy that made that huge run at New Mexico State? Well, you know what? Chris Jans is doing the exact same thing. Menzies did it almost every year. It's the conference they play in is we all admit is kind of weaker than maybe they would like. They don't play ranked teams once it gets into the conference. There's no big profile game in their conferences, and so it kind of makes their resume look a little better than what it really is. I mean, look at Menzies.
Well,
the poor guy's
the bummer
right
for
now
them.
because
He's a Grand Canyon now, sitting making actually probably $600,000 as an assistant coach. So the bummer for them is because of that they always end up with a gaudy record and a crummy net ranking, and they end up getting a 14, 15 seed and grabbing a 2 or 3 seed in the first round. And last year they were 12 and they had a chance, and Clemson got them. Was it Clemson last year?
Well, and the thing about New Mexico State that you got to give them credit is they do recruit.
Yeah.
I mean, they are recruiting better than the other teams in their conference.
Yeah, because they can get guys in school there too, and guys that might not be able to get eligible into other places, they're able to get in there. But yeah, they recruit well. No, it's fair. Thanks, Ken.
So you're welcome.
See you. All right, here's the deal. And I got 2. Why can't I clear that line? We got to take a break, and because we've got the guests scheduled, we got to hit this break on time. So if you're on the phones, I apologize. Feel free to call back. I'll put you to the front of the line at 505-246-0610. What do you make of his call, though?
Look at the track record. He's right. You can be very successful at New Mexico State. The recent coaches that have made the jump haven't found that same success.
Yep. Now, does that mean they're not good coaches? There's other coaches who've made a jump who also haven't had success, but there's a pattern of 2. Right? A pattern of 2. I would tell you that I think that last year they were better than mediocre non-conference. Right? This year, with all their struggles, they lost non-conference. They road game to UTEP. They got swept by the Lobos, and they lost at Arizona. And then they lost the final of that tournament to George Mason. And they lost a Washington State game. Yeah. It was okay. Wasn't great, but that win at Mississippi State was big, right? True.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I
I don't know what the point is. I think he was looking at saying if Chris Jans jumps, be cautious
he's gonna have
where you go.
The same fate. No, I understand.
I think what is impressive is how 3 different coaches have been able to maintain that success
at New Mexico
State.
I think that's impressive too. It's the opening drive. Chris Jans when we get back on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
The world-famous Laguna Burger is beautifully handcrafted. A burger that's created from certified Angus beef, sinfully cooked to juicy perfection, and garnished with New Mexico's Hatch green chili. Tempt your taste buds with mouth-watering fresh ingredients.
Cut! We're gonna need another Laguna Burger. Try the irresistible, world-famous Laguna Burger. Visit thelagunaburger.com. It's fresh with a kick. Take 32.
Lava Rock Brewing Company, conveniently located on Albuquerque's west side, just south of I-40. You can come on in, enjoy our pizza, pasta, burgers, and more by Matucci's. It's all at Lava Rock. Lava Rock Brewing Company, come on in.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
What is glamour? Frailty. What is desire? Diamonds. They say a life lived without passion is hardly worth living.
Ma'am? Ma'am? Ma'am?
Dang, this one made me feel all special.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rawlings, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
The Lascombe family has been growing and crafting wine in New Mexico since 1981. Formerly known as St. Clair Winery, we're going back to our roots and honoring our founders, Danielle and Hervé Lascombe. Today, our D.H. Lascombe Winery and Bistro locations continue to deliver the exceptional wine and food experience you've come to expect from the Lascombe family. Visit us and enjoy a culmination of our 6th-generation winemaking legacy and unique, perfectly paired foods. D.H. Lascombe Winery and Bistro.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity.
New Mexico State, once again, has won the Western Athletic Conference regular season championship with a 78-62 win on Saturday over UTRGV in the Pan Am Center. Jabari Rice had 20 points, Terrell Brown 18, Ivan Aura-Corosea had 10 rebounds for the Aggies, who now have the longest winning streak active in America at 16. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda, J.J. Buck. Next up, they'll go to Grand Canyon and Cal State Bakersfield, come home, close out the regular season against Cal Baptist, and then head out to Vegas for the WAC tournament. The head coach at New Mexico State is Chris Jans. They cut down nets, they raised a trophy, and he joins us on the opening drive. Good morning, Chris. How you living?
Not bad, Jeff. How you doing?
Pretty well, thank you. Congratulations on another championship. With everything that's gone on this season and guys that you've had to replace and mixing up lineups and playing tough games, you got this team, looks like clicking at a pretty good pace headed towards March.
Well, we're getting healthier for the ones that, are available and eligible. We had Trevelyan Queen had the meniscus repair, and he was out for 5 or 6 games, and he's starting to look like his former self. And then Terrell Brown didn't play against Utah Valley because of a foot sprain, and he came back roaring and ready to go on Saturday at home, having the whole week to get ready. Certainly helped him. So we weren't real happy with our game against Utah Valley, and we were fortunate that we won. Probably shouldn't have won, but we did, and wanted to play better, wanted to get that taste out of our mouth and feel better about our team, and we certainly did that Saturday against Rio Grande. We expected a fight and got one, and we were able to play well enough to win.
Championships are nice, and all the accolades are nice. You went into the weekend with the 4th longest winning streak in the nation, and now you've got the longest one. That'll be a mantra. People will talk about it. You like that? Do you like the conversation around it? Is it a distraction? How do you guys look at something like that when stuff like that comes?
Yeah, we've embraced it. We've embraced the streaks that we're in the midst of right now for WAC games for this season. And now, to hold that mantle for a while, I think is a good thing for our program. It'll get more people talking about the Aggies nationally. It'll put us on that map a little bit more. And for us, anytime we can get the talking heads, especially at this time of the year when more people are paying attention to college basketball, is great exposure for our program. Now, on the flip side of it, the target continues to get bigger. We've been talking about that a lot recently with our team leading up to these games, that, this is the program that we're playing's chance to make a ripple, and they want to knock us off. And our kids have handled it, really well thus far, but like I said, I think the target will be a little bit bigger going forward. But I like the fact that, there'll be pressurized games. I'm a big fan of that. Now that we have the regular season over, we'll still have the streak to play for, and certainly to try to play our best going into WAC Vegas. But I just think the more often you can play in pressurized situations that can replicate, conference semifinals and final games, the better off you are when they arrive.
Now, Chris, talking about those pressure situations, and you did mention, maybe the last game against Utah Valley, not quite where you wanted it, but your team responded. It hit a big shot late, and there's been some other moments in conference play where you've had to play really good down the stretch. What has that meant for your team, and what has been the key to your squad responding in those moments?
I think that we've finally rounded into form of understanding, who we are and how we have to play, considering the loss of players that we've had to handle this season. And, we've had teams, for the most part, that didn't rely on one or two guys. And, I think that makes you harder to defend against, harder to scout. And so, this year we've got to that point again where guys are confident with each other and they're sharing the ball, and other teams can't just take one guy away and feel like you got a great chance to beat us. And I love it, when that happens as a coach, because I think it just gives you a lot of flexibility, and it's fun to be a part of when these kids are believing in one another and playing for one another and are unselfish on the court and work very hard behind the scenes, and I think we're rounding into form that way. So hopefully with 3 games left, it'll even get better.
You mentioned having players out, of course, A.J. Harris, Trevelyan Queen, everything that you've dealt with. What's it like for you and your staff, making that adjustment and then trying to figure out who's able to step up, and then how do you get those players ready for those moments?
Well, it's been a roller coaster of a year, lots of ups and downs, and I've had to go into the video room where we watch video before practice, and felt like Groundhog Day for a while, having to explain to everybody the new injury and how long that person's going to be out and how we're going to deal with it, and just having to hit the reset button as a staff. So many times. I've just never experienced it anywhere I've ever been, regardless of the position I held in that particular staff. I just never seen anything like it. And it's been unfortunate, but I'm proud of our staff and our guys, the way they've handled it, the way they've continued to fight through it. We've never used it as an excuse. It's not something we talk about in our locker room very often or on the floor. It just is what it is. There's no changing it. You've got to accept it, deal with it, try to figure it out. And like I said, this program and these kids have found a way to do it. If you'd have told me we'd be in this situation, back in October, I'd have said you're crazy. And I just, there's no way that I don't think anyone could have predicted it to us to have closed it out, with 3 games remaining and have the streak that we have. But we're certainly happy, that it's going on. But I don't think we could have predicted it.
New Mexico State basketball coach Chris Jans is with us on Thursday of last week. He won his 100th victory, or earned his 100th victory as a Division I head coach, and he's one of only 7 current head coaches right now to have won league titles in each of his first 3 seasons at his school. He's won 3 straight league titles at New Mexico State. Chris, early in the season, well, not earlier, after the Bakersfield game, I watched, and you went about 8 minutes in that game, and you won the game without a field goal. And I said to JJ, this team doesn't feel like a lot of the teams in the past where you had a guy who could take over. And my concern was, if you hit a postseason game where you hit a drought like that, you could be in a tight one and be in danger. I don't know if you feel that way now with you've got guys healthy, with Trev back, with Terrell back, but that was a concern for me early. Is that a fair concern?
I think it was a valid concern for all of us earlier in the year, but at this point, I feel much better about it. I think we've got a handful of guys that are willing and able to make a big shot or go on a 6 or 8-0 run by themselves. I mean, Jabari Rice has really shown the type of player that he is and he's going to be, and he certainly has the confidence level to take those type of shots and go on those runs. Evan Gilliard's always been a scorer, and he can go on a mini run himself or make a big play. And then certainly, Yvonne and Johnny McCants around the basket have really grown in their ability to score around the basket, and our kids have gotten confidence in throwing them the ball. And you mentioned Trevelyan and Terrell, and we both know that those guys are capable of having big nights. So we've gotten better, and that's kind of the mantra of every team, obviously. But I think these kids have bought into it, and we've gotten better from 5 or 6 games ago or 10 games ago, and that's the goal now. And I've told them that if we stay where we're at, if we're fortunate enough and lucky enough to get in the NCAA tournament, we won't be good enough to win a game. But if we continue trending upward and trying to get better, and where other teams maybe are just trying to maintain and stay, injury-free, etc. We've got to be better every day in practice and use those opportunities to actually get better. So if we're, like I said, lucky enough to be in that situation, we have a chance to win games against that level of competition, and that's kind of where our mindset is right now.
Now, Chris, I think maybe unfortunately this year with the injuries, it's helped keep these guys confident in themselves, having to work, having to grind a little bit more. But what has been the key to these guys not being overconfident, having the right amount of confidence, knowing, hey, the target is on our back, but not getting complacent and not really overlooking anybody?
Well, you have to come to practice every day to see all that. But these kids, they're humble. They're hard workers. They have a hard hat mentality, every day. They know they're going to be pushed and prodded and asked to give it all. Certainly we don't have, perfect days, but that's what we're striving for. And, if you get close to that, then you're making, steps in the right direction. But, they asked me after the game if I was worried how they would stay motivated after, having the conference championship complete and 3 games remaining. And I said, it doesn't even cross my mind. I mean, these kids are excited to play college basketball. They're excited to compete. We got to take the show on the road, and we'll play in great environments at Grand Canyon and Bakersfield before having senior night against Cal Baptist. And all 3 of those teams are more than capable of beating us, and our guys know that. So we'll have plenty of motivation, and our kids will stay the course.
All right, lastly, when I look back at the beginning of the streak, the game, and I guess they considered a neutral court game at Jackson, Mississippi. When you beat Mississippi State, a team who's 57 net right now, who's 4th place, 5th place in the SEC, to go on the road and win that game as you weren't healthy, and then go on the run and have some close games, that game seemed to tell a big story. And I don't. When you talk about confidence and going and beating a good team in a close game, I'm going to guess that one helped a lot. But how big of a role did that play for you guys in these other close games that you've been in of late?
Oh, you're right on point, man. We needed a signature win in the worst way at that point with this team. We had signature wins in the previous 2 years going into conference play, and we hadn't had a big win for this team, and we needed it. I needed it. The program needed it. The kids needed it. And, man, we walked out of that arena, we just felt different. I mean, I felt different. Our kids felt different. Our confidence was much better. We knew we could play, with that level of competition. The irony of it was that, we were starting to get healthy. AJ played that game. Clayton had started practicing. We knew he was coming back. And that was the most cruel thing that happened to us, that all of a sudden in the next week or so, both those guys get re-injured, and obviously we still feel bad for what they're going through. But I think that's the biggest storyline, is that we stuck together and figured it out and went back to the drawing board, and we won some close games after that, and I think that helped keep our confidence high. But there's no question that the Mississippi State game was a turning point for our season.
All right, we'll go get this road trip. We'll catch up with you before conference play starts. Congratulations on another regular season championship. I know there's a lot of work to do, but always appreciate catching up with you.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me. Have a good week.
You as well. Thank you. Chris Jans won his 100th game, 100th victory on Thursday.
Not too bad. And when they get that rail runner extended down to Las Cruces, maybe we can hit up a couple more practices.
Yeah, we can get to practice every day. He's one of only 3 current NCAA head coaches who have won 3 league titles in their first 3 seasons at their school. And the guys at Bucknell and VCU, that's Anthony Grant, UC Wilmington, Murray State, and Brad Underwood at Stephen F. Austin. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, Micah, and Josh. Feel free to respond to what you heard on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Good morning, Sports Animals. Time is 8:28. Let's take another look at that morning commute. We're still seeing some delays and complications from a couple of accidents. We have a crash at Paradise Davenport with delays in all directions there. We have a crash eastbound 40 that's going to be just east of the river, as there's still some minor delays in that area as well. And then if you do see any other accidents, please give us a call at the Traffic Tracker hotline at 767-9167, brought to you by American Home Furniture Outlet and Clearance Center at I-25 in Comanche. From the 96.3 News Radio KKOB Traffic Center, I'm Micah Turman with your sports animal traffic.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
How much exercise have you gotten this week? I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN's chief medical correspondent. Making time to exercise is tough, but it's important. It can help you maintain a healthy weight, avoid diabetes, keep your blood pressure in check. It can even help you ward off certain kinds of cancers. According to a recent study published in the Journal of Clinical Oncology, getting the recommended amount of exercise could help lower your risk of breast, kidney, multiple myeloma, and liver cancer, to name a few. Now the question I always get, how much exercise do you need? Well, about 150 minutes of moderate intensity or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity exercise every week. That might sound like a lot, but if you break it up, it's doable, I promise. There are other ways to lower your risk of cancer as well. Perhaps even more important than exercise, eat right. And most importantly, don't smoke. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
This morning you're up early because you're at the DMV. So many people, it takes so much time. Do you have the right form? Are you in the right line? Your number E42, right after C23. This is confusing when your morning is hell. Just go to Taco Bell.
When you've had a morning, let us make you breakfast. Like Taco Bell's Breakfast Crunch Wrap. Everything you love about breakfast, wrapped up and grilled to go. At participating locations during breakfast hours.
Vicks Children's knows that kids ask a lot of questions, especially when they're sick.
Mom, what's red dye 33?
Artificial food coloring.
What's high fructose corn syrup?
Processed sugar.
Some are surprising.
Can I have alcohol?
Definitely not. Are you reading this somewhere?
My cough syrup label.
Vicks Children's remove these unnecessary additives to build a better children's cough medicine. So you can answer.
When will I feel better?
Soon.
Dump these additives and keep the relief with new Vicks Children's Cough and Congestion. Use as directed.
Need more traffic? You're less than 10 minutes away from another traffic report on 96.3 FM, News Radio KKOB, with traffic reports every 10 minutes on the 7s. On air now at 96.3 News Radio KKOB.
Save thousands on GMC Sierra half-ton SLE crew cabs at Quality on Lomas. During February, they start at just $36,960. Quality Buick GMC, Lomas in Pennsylvania.
Quality by DiLorenzo.
QualityDeal.com.
Fat Tuesday at Mardi Gras are fast approaching, and you don't have to be in New Orleans to throw back more than beads into blooms. If you're going to drink, take a ride on us. Together, we can end DWI. The Sports Animal is partnered with Ron Bell Injury Lawyers, the City of Albuquerque, the Department of Family and Community Services, Bernalillo County Department of Behavioral Services, Sandoval County DWI Prevention, and Uber to help end DWI. So put on your best purple, gold, and green, grab your best throws, and get ready to pass a good time. If you're going to drink, open the Uber app now and enter the code MG2020. After the festivities, request an Uber, and we'll pay up to $10 for your ride. This offer is good for the first 600 people who use the code from noon on Tuesday, February 25th through 3 a.m. on Wednesday, February 26th. This program can only be used for rides and not Uber Eats, and the offer does not cover tip. Enjoy Mardi Gras 2020 and take a ride on us. Together, we can end DWI.
Trucks and Bucks is back at Isleta Resort and Casino.
Enter today and win thousands in cash prizes and free play every weekend.
Sundays, win one of 7 Ford Rangers from Malloy and Los Lunas.
Trucks and Bucks
at Isleta Resort and Casino, where the fun begins.
Mom, delivery!
You've been loading up on things from Walmart? Yeah, I used my new Capital One Walmart Rewards card. It earns unlimited 5% back on everything I buy from Walmart online. Say what? 5% back. Say what?
5% back.
Say what now?
5% back!
With what?
The Capital One Walmart Rewards card. Earn unlimited rewards, including 5% back at Walmart online on top of Walmart's everyday low prices. What's in your wallet?
Terms and exclusions apply. Capital One USA NA.
What's in store this week at your local Staples?
The campaign kickoff you've been waiting for.
Give your candidate or your business a kickstart with custom print products from Staples.
And right now at Staples, save 25% when you order 2 or more signs, posters, or banners. Some products are available same day when you order by 2 p.m.
Give your campaign a jump start with help from Staples,
where there's a whole lot more in store.
Ends 2/29/20. Must order 2 or more of same item for discount. See store or staples.com/print25 for full details.
Catch the Sports Bar with Michael and Mike. Local talk today at 3, 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
Yeah, this year bums me out that the Mountain West is backed up early, so I won't get to see the WAC and the Pac-12. We were just talking about it. But starting on next week, next Wednesday, Sports Animal will be live from Las Vegas. We'll cover the Mountain West Conference Tournament, the opening drive live from the Thomas and Mack Center. Starting next Wednesday, we'll be there Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I want to say thank you to our 5 great conference tournament sponsors who are making sure that this happens for you. Rudy Chavez, attorney at law. Remember, Saul calls Rudy. Airport parking, park for less than half the price of Sunport parking. Hooters, your college hoops headquarters. American Home Furniture and Mattress, they guarantee you'll pay less. And 1-800-TRUCK-WRECK. Call attorney Clay Miller at 1-800-TRUCK-WRECK, W-R-E-C-K. Ralph in Carlsbad, California, said, did Jans just call it Whack Vegas? I believe he did. Yeah, Whack Vegas. What'd you think from Jans?
Solid.
Yep, they play defense. I asked him about the concern I told you about after the Bakersfield game. I said this team concerned me at that point because it's a team that if they go on a drought, it just takes the middle game, the second half in Vegas against a decent team, and you're done, right? And you can't afford that. I didn't get into what the net rankings are because I knew what the answer is. You can only control what you can control, right? But I thought his answer about the Mississippi State game was really, really telling. They got swept by New Mexico, right? They lost to Washington State. They were injured, trying to figure out what they were, and went down there and played an SEC team in their state anyway. Not in their on-campus gym, but that's a road game. And I thought it was a big win at the time, and it's interesting to hear how big he thought it was.
It was a big win, important for them. And as you said, unfortunately, they still had to deal with injuries coming out of that when they thought maybe they were turning a corner at that point in time. But that's what's impressive about this team is the run that they were able to go on with those things popping up, knowing A.J. Harris wasn't coming back, either was Clayton Henry, and the focus that this team has had. And that's what one where I asked him the question about the injuries, and while it sucks, has that kind of helped give your team that edge because other guys have had to step up and you've had to play a little bit differently. And he said, we are who we are, how we have to play. Now they understand that, so they've adjusted. And what he's done coaching-wise, him and his staff have been very good this season. And it goes back to expectations. And he said, come down to one of our practices and you'll find out why the team plays the way they do. And he set that tone from the beginning.
I think the other thing is the constant evolution and getting better of Johnny McCants and Ivan Aure-Corosea. I think Ivan – I like saying Ivan Aure-Corosea. I think Ivan's gotten really, really good, and offensively, I think he's been good the whole time he's been there. Lance, good morning.
Shout out to the Aggies. I mean, you're an awesome team if you just win that many games. That's all there is to it. I don't care what league you're in. Basketball, any given day. Hey, I'm going to do a picker-upper for us. Micah, my Aurora Cowboy fan, dysfunctional family. I'm from Aurora, but love him. He's a great guy. Didn't go to Gladiator tryouts. So I decided on Sunday morning, NFL withdrawal. We got bowling, bull riding, needed supplies for the ranch. I'm eating the PBJ, so I decided to go to the church down the hill on the way there because the liquor store didn't open up till 12. And they asked me to stand up. New guy. I had the floor. You know what happens. And Jeff, so I ate, peanut butter and jelly are total opposites. Put them on God's bread, and they're wonderful together. That was good. I should have stopped right there. You know me. Couldn't happen. My dilemma is, do you use the knife for the jelly or peanut butter first? Do you get the peanut butter in the jelly jar or the jelly in the peanut butter jar?
Right.
You know, so the jelly you could put it in the fridge and it's safe, but the peanut butter dies up next to the crackers in the cupboards.
No, you put it in the fridge.
People started arguing. I had started arguments in church. My first, like, a minute in church, and I started arguments in church. And the preacher, he already had his Bible out, but he's searching underneath the little desk up there. I thought he was looking for a gun, so I bolted and went down and waited. Had to wait 20 minutes for the liquor store to open. But hey, you know, there's some good players on that Lobos team and stuff. But the Aggies, I'm really proud of them too. And to win that many games and be undefeated in any sport, I don't care what it is, to go undefeated in a league, you're dang good. And I'm proud of the fact that they are making a name for New Mexico, and they'll probably get it wrong anyway on ESPN and call them the New Mexico Lobos. You know, they always screw it up. But I'm really proud of them, and thanks for your time and freedom of speech. And I'll try not to call too much, but I just wanted a little picker-upper for everybody today. You know, get your heads out of the sand and try to laugh a little bit, and everyone. Anyway, we'll see you later, Jeff.
You go peanut butter first or jelly first?
Peanut butter.
What about you?
I have a paper towel so that I can wipe off the knife, and then I don't worry about it.
It's bad. I mean, you're killing the planet.
I know.
Destroying paper towels that way. And you're destroying the
my
planet
peanut butter
with
and my jelly are clean.
The more paper you use, you just dip the peanut butter in the jelly because it's going to be there anyway.
Mm-hmm. You're going to mix it anyway, yeah.
Or what if I just buy the jar that has both in it?
John, stay there. We got to take this break. You're up when we come back. On the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
The world-famous Laguna Burger is beautifully handcrafted. A burger that's created from certified Angus beef, sinfully cooked to juicy perfection, and garnished with New Mexico's Hatch green chili. Tempt your taste buds with mouth-watering fresh ingredients.
Cut! We're gonna need another Laguna Burger. Try the irresistible, world-famous Laguna Burger. Visit thelagunaburger.com. It's fresh with a kick. Take 32.
Lava Rock Brewing Company, conveniently located on Albuquerque's west side, just south of I-40. You can come on in, enjoy our pizza, pasta, burgers, and more by Matucci's. It's all at Lava Rock. Lava Rock Brewing Company, come on in.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili, breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
What is glamour? Frailty. What is desire? Diamonds. They say a life lived without passion is hardly worth living.
Ma'am? 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 Dang, this one made me feel all special.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
The Lascombe family has been growing and crafting wine in New Mexico since 1981. Formerly known as St. Clair Winery, we're going back to our roots and honoring our founders, Danielle and Hervé Lascombe. Today, our D.H. Lascombe Winery and Bistro locations continue to deliver the exceptional wine and food experience you've come to expect from the Lascombe family. Visit us and enjoy a culmination of our 6th-generation winemaking legacy and unique, perfectly paired foods. D.H. Lascombe Winery and Bistro.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, hashtag life change will occur.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green. And keep the community green as well. Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment. You trash it, we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Local Union 412. Find a career with benefits, not just a job, at UA Local 412 Training Center. We are looking for plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC tech apprentices and journeymen. Call 505-256-9257. Local Union 412.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters! It's like it never happened!
At New Mexico Highlands University, you're more than a student, you're family. Whether you're taking courses in Las Vegas, Santa Fe, Rio Rancho, Albuquerque, or Farmington, you'll get that one-on-one attention to inspire you to reach your goals. Let New Mexico Highlands help take your passion and accelerate it into a career and fulfilling life path. Find out why New Mexico Highlands is the right choice for you. Log on to newmexicohighlands.com today.
Hey everyone, Adam Deal here with ProView Networks. Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of ProView Networks and all high school sports.
More than just a pretty phase. JJ Buck. You can catch him on Channel 7 today, 4:30ish. Catch him on ProView Networks every day. ProViewNetworks.com or go to our Facebook page, the OD and the AM. More than just a pretty face. 505-246-0610. John, sorry about the length of that break. I might have taken you before if I knew how long it was. Hello, John.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, you know what? Congrats to the Aggies. And, I've heard some of the callers say about the Aggies, they don't do good in the postseason and that. Hey, first of all, I'm a Lobo fan. and I'm an Aggie fan when they're not playing the Lobos. But if they lose or win, it doesn't really bother me much. But the one thing that does bother me is when the Aggies and Mountain West teams, well, if you're a non-Power 6 team, they get in, they get a lousy seed. They usually get hosed by the referees, like when the Aggies were pretty good and they met Texas in the first round and were actually whipping up on them. So the second half, when the referees let Texas actually just get away with everything and actually come back and beat the Aggies.
Remember the Michigan State game where they got that remember they were with Michigan State, they had a shot at Michigan State, and they called the Aggies for a lane violation in the last few seconds of that game, gave them an extra free throw, and they won that game. And you look back at it, you're like, it really wasn't a lane violation. Yeah, they've got some tough calls.
Yeah, I've seen that. Well, how about the Lady Lobos when they were playing Purdue, and actually, I think it was Flanagan as the coach. And the second half, they actually let the Purdue ladies just beat up the Lobos physically. I mean, just literally push them out of the way for rebounds and layups and stuff. And that's so it's like, like when you see these little teams and they say, well, they don't deserve a shot. Well, you know what? Give them a fair shot and give them a fair seeding. That's all I say.
All right, man. Thanks. I'll give you this. According to Jerry's rankings right now, you've got San Diego State and Gonzaga on the one line. That's 2 of the 4 ones coming out of non-power conference, the Mountain West and the West Coast Conference. You've got Dayton coming out of the A-10 on the 2 line, right? So they're getting some chances. They're getting some chances. Now, right now, well, you got Utah State up to a 9. Mm-hmm. Utah State's pretty firmly in, right?
That is solid right now with how much movement we're seeing.
Yeah.
The bubble in and out every single day. It's a good place to be.
Utah State is fairly firmly in. What's today's date? 24. So we updated this today. He still has San Diego State on the 1 line. He's got him against Radford, and then they look at that. That'd be something. San Diego State, Texas Tech, or Indiana in the second round. That's a tough. But they're all. I mean, there's no easy draws. They're all tough. Right now he's got Utah State firmly in. Last 4 in are Rutgers, North Carolina State, Wichita State, and Richmond. And then the first 4 out, Rhode Island, who I watched. Who did I watch them beat yesterday? I know I watched them play.
Wasn't that the lead into the Aztec game because they went in overtime?
It was. Who they beat?
Rhode Island and Davidson.
That's what it was. No. Oh, Davidson beat him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Davidson beat him. He's got that Mississippi State team that the Aggies beat is one of the first 4 out also. 505-246-0610. We're going to talk with Jeff Grammer at the top of the hour, 888-922-0610. Got a bunch of emails I got to get to you as well. This one says the women have to win tonight. Do they? I mean, honestly, James. He says it's already been a tough campaign, but not nearly as tough as the offseason is going to be if they lose to the Fly Girls on senior night. In college basketball, the real playing begins now. It just feels strange that neither Lobo men or women seem likely to be in action past next week. Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal. That this all could be over by like the 4th or 5th or 6th of March. Yeah. Richard says, after a rough season like this, Jeff, there's got to be major changes. I wonder which cheerleaders and chaparrals will be entering the transfer portal.
We'll keep an eye on it for you.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully not your favorite. That's all I got to tell you. Hopefully not your favorites. Jack says, Jeff, we're going to hear Clune Arena's hard to get to. Tough to play in with like 50 fans in attendance, and Air Force is well coached. But no way Lobo basketball loses there, right, Jeffy? Not to a struggling Flyboy squad that just dropped the contest to Wyoming. JJ, they lost at home to a Wyoming team that I think is worse than New Mexico, right? Lobos blew them out of the gym a few weeks ago. Like, there's no way, right?
Oh, there's absolutely a way they can lose that game. You watched Lobo basketball?
Mm-hmm. I say it facetiously.
Oh, I know you do.
And I'm not even going to sit here and say they've got to win because it doesn't matter anymore. I mean, it doesn't matter till next Wednesday, right? But maybe it does. Because if they go in riding a 6-game skid, having lost at Air Force.
Well, I think the thing, even if they win, they beat Air Force.
Win a game.
Knock off Utah State, all this If they turn the corner, do they have
Well, if they
confidence?
knock off Utah State, we're having another conversation. Yeah.
Like, is that something you can believe in with
Yes.
this Louisville basketball team?
If they knock off Utah State,
Because that's going to take a heck of a performance at home.
I wasn't even considering that.
Yeah, and
I was.
how far down the list it is.
Well, I mean, I wasn't considering that they're going to beat Utah State. Are you?
No.
Utah State's playing really well. They're healthy. I'm watching what I'm watching. You tell me how you see this team's going to beat Utah State.
I don't.
Okay. But they can beat Air Force.
Yes.
All right. That's my feel. And so snap the skid, get a feel-good moment. I don't care where it is against whom it is. Go out and get a feel-good, play well, figure out a rotation. I don't know, man. Grammer's going to be with us coming up in about 6 minutes. He asked a question, and I want his thought on it because we got Paul's response. Is it a rebuild? Are they just playing for next season? And if so, then why is he giving Jaquan Lyle 33 minutes?
1 minute.
Right? So that's coming up next. Chris said on Jan's, hey Ken, Mark Pope made the jump from Utah Valley and led BYU to adopt 25. I'll hit this in a bit. That's a deeper conversation. 505-246-0610. Keep your emails coming. Jeff at 610knml.com or JJ at 610knml.com. It is your opening drive. Jeff Grammer's next on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
I'm Kyle Montgomery with NFL Network now on the Westwood One Radio Network. The news getting even better for Ben Roethlisberger these days. The Steelers QB telling the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette he expects to be fully cleared in 3 months from his season-ending elbow surgery. This comes after Big Ben was spotted throwing a football Saturday for the first time since September. The quarterback situation is less clear in Indianapolis. On Sunday, Colts owner Jim Irsay says that while Jacoby Brissett is currently the starter, the team will explore the draft and free agency at the position this offseason. The Raiders announced a date for their official practice debut in their new hometown. The team says it will host its June minicamp in Las Vegas. And a huge congratulations to longtime NFL assistant and current Dolphins QB coach Carl Durrell, who was officially named as the new head football coach at the University of Colorado. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Do you have concerns about mild memory loss related to aging? And have you thought about taking a supplement to improve your memory, but would like to hear from a pharmacist first? Now there is good news. Prevagen is the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand, so you can safely take care of yourself with confidence. Prevagen, healthier brain, better life. 2019 Pharmacy Times survey. Statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/search. That's ZipRecruiter.com.
The king of sports talk radio. Sometimes the headlines make it sound like it's something really big, and then honestly, it's a major letdown. The Jim Rome Show, weekdays at 10. So, because I'm experienced, I never rush in, I always manage my expectations, and I remind myself constantly to be patient and to just wait for the official announcement from the authorities. 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
We're headed to Vegas, baby. It's Jeff Siembieda, and the opening drive will be live from Las Vegas, Nevada, starting March 4th. We'll be watching the Lobos in the Mountain West Tournament, where the competition will be fierce. Can the Lobos make a run in the arena once known as Pit West, or will top-ranked San Diego State take it all? I'll bring you all the latest and the news from Las Vegas, so don't miss a minute. Our Las Vegas coverage is sponsored by 1-800-TRUCK-WRECK, American Home Furniture and Mattress, Hooters, Airport Parking, and Rudy Chavez, Attorney at Law.
Night Ranger, live in concert, playing all their hits, plus deep cuts from their catalog. Night Ranger, live. Friday, April 3rd, 8 p.m., the all-new Isleta Casino Showroom. Reserve seat tickets on sale now at the Isleta box office or isleta.com. Do not miss Night Ranger, live. Isleta Resort and Casino, where the fun begins.
This is Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, and we want to help your house feel more like a home with some of the lowest refinancing rates ever. Rates have dropped so much that many Americans can reduce their rate. You may be able to save money on your monthly mortgage payment right now. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.99%, APR 4.23%. Call us at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rates subject to change. Pay 2% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
This human resources professional is owning it at work with Kronos. And this is her hype song.
I'm coming at you faster. No stopping.
Feel the burn.
I've got HR, payroll.
Well coached team. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, glad you're with us. Our next guest hasn't been on our show in, what would you say?
He's been on our show. It's usually when you're not here.
Oh, is that right? All right. I didn't realize. I didn't realize what you do when I'm not here. Actually, I should have better control. He's a internet star, a Twitter sensation, and star of almost every other radio show in town. Isn't that right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he?
Well, no, he should
covers
be.
this league very well.
He covers this league incredibly well, and he's got fat heads made for him.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and he's leaving Idaho. It's what is it? It's 9 o'clock in Boise, Idaho. Jeff Grammer joins us on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good day, sir. How you living?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good. I appreciate you spending a little time with us. So I want to start with we'll get into the whole change of lineups and discipline and that whole thing. You asked Paul an interesting question in the post game yesterday. You asked him, "Is this a reboot now, or a rebuild? Are you rebuilding? Is it for next year?" And he gave an interesting answer about how I see how it looks that way, but. Jeff, with what we watched yesterday, all of a sudden there's discipline, but it's kind of getting other guys playing time, but it's also this. Is this all about next year now?
I wouldn't say it's all about next year. I think it's a little too late, too late this year, but the discipline had to come at some point. Why it happened, we could probably analyze and break down for a long time kind of how the wheels came off this year, but whether you like Paul Weir or not, and whether you like this team or not, and you like the individual players or not, this was a team by about a week ago that just simply didn't have players doing what their coaches were telling them to do
just
anymore.
A week ago?
And I'm saying before yesterday's game, they were doing whatever they wanted, and it was awful. I mean, it had been building all year, and it had been getting worse and worse and worse. And I can tell you that the only time all year I've seen them run pit steps was last Thursday, and that was when several players missed their team breakfast, which it is a requirement, and they used to be punished for missing it. I guess, whether or not it's still a requirement, I guess is up for debate, because it is a requirement. They just weren't being punished for not going to it. And there were a lot of things like that going on. And that's what, about a week ago, finally changed. And people have been begging Paul to do something about those kind of things all year. And about a week ago, things started to change, and he finally started to kind of bring the team back. I get that shows a very weak coach on the surface. I also know that Paul Weir's a kind of coach that has been very open about thinking coaches overcoach and get in the way too much, and he lets players play. People ask me after every game why he never calls timeouts. His general philosophy is if you have talented players, you kind of let them do their thing and take your chances with the talent winning out. And that is his philosophy. He let that get way out of control.
Yeah, Jeff, I'm going to cut you off because I want to further that, and I apologize. But it was interesting. You know, we all sat at that rectangle table on Thursday of last week, and Eddie Nunez talked about how he's let his coaches know he's holding them accountable, and he had that conversation with them weeks ago. I don't know if that coincides with this, but also don't you think it's got to be consistent? And we've all heard, and you've been at practice, and there's been a lot of practices. Jaquan Lyle isn't there. Jaquan Lyle is still playing 33, 34. 30-plus minutes every game, and I know there's been issues with him. Bill Parcells says you don't treat each player the same. You treat your stars differently. They have more leeway. Is that the case here? Because it's pretty hard to say I'm disciplining you all when one or two guys are getting away with other stuff.
Well, I mean, to be very clear, what I saw last week was Jaquan Lyle did not violate what the other players did. So the specific instance I witnessed last week was Lyle goes to all the team breakfasts. He has other issues and has done other things. So speaking specifically to what I saw people being punished for last week, Jaquan Lyle did not commit that violation. He was at practice last week. He has been on load management, I guess is the new basketball term for it. But when he was playing so many minutes early, they did actually let him. He was at practices a lot of times, but they held him out of a lot of practices for the first half of the season. He, I think, probably was sent home a couple other times that maybe I didn't know about or nobody made official. But he was by design missing some practices early in the year because he was playing so many minutes. All that said is the main problem on this team in terms of on-court discipline and listening to your coach was the relationship between Paul Weir and Jaquan Lyle. There's no mistaking that. He's the guy that he's been here for 3 years. I do think a lot of people kind of forget that. He's been here since day one with Paul Weir and was a big part for the last 2 years of being the only guy kind of maybe sending that message. If you remember last year after they lost at UNLV and kind of showed, I wouldn't say they quit last year, but they had a horrible game at UNLV. Showed very little energy, very little effort. The guy that called them out on Twitter after that game, and it became a story I wrote about, and I remember Chelsea at UNM was upset that I did. I wrote about his tweet. He tweeted out, or he called out his team tweeting him. Jaquan was doing those kind of things that I think Paul took as this is a leader. This is why they voted him a team captain before the year. And then you get into this year, and he's finally playing, and he just wasn't practicing. Jaquan Lyle, I'm talking about, wasn't practicing what he was preaching. He wasn't the guy that was getting back on defense. He wasn't the guy that was playing with that same kind of energy that he was calling his teammates out for. And I think for 2 years when he was the practice guy, that was, the guy in practice is always better than the guys on the court kind of deal. Jaquan Lyle was that for 2 years, and I think once the season started, he just wasn't practicing what he had been preaching for 2 years.
He's Jeff Grammer for the Albuquerque Journal.
Now, Jeff, when you look at this team on the outside, it's easy to start picking apart just moments on the court. And when people are watching the games, whether it's in television or at the pit, and you see little things. Being around this team as much as you are, what is the team chemistry like? Do these guys like each other enough to get by, or what's that atmosphere from what you're able to see?
I don't get that this is a team that likes each other, any more or less than most of the teams. I don't think they hate each other, but I also don't buy into the chemistry's just fine. There are some problems. I think a lot of the problems on this team, chemistry-wise, have to do with the general mindset. I don't think there's a secret that there's a lot of players who were the individual stars of past teams or who feel that they should be the individual stars. There's no getting around that on a basketball court sometimes. When you believe you should be the guy, when you're scrimmaging in practices every day and when you're in games, it's hard to get around that when that's how you practice and that's how you have your mind set all year long. You don't just flip that off on a Sunday afternoon in Boise or a Tuesday night in San Diego. It's hard to become a team when that's not how you're practicing all year. And I don't know that this team, all year long, we've been told that from the players themselves. I mean, what else are they going to say? We've been told that the chemistry is just fine. I don't think they think there's a chemistry issue on this team. I just watch in practice. I've seen better teams. I've seen teams that got along better. Just 2 years ago, in Paul's first year, by the end of that year, that team had kind of come together in a way that said, look, everybody thinks we suck. Let's just, like, play well together and let's show them kind of deal. You know, that whole chip on the shoulder thing that the team 2 years ago had by this time, by February, this year's team simply just doesn't have anywhere close to that.
Yeah, and to that point, when the roster was the way it was first half of the season, they were just kind of out-talenting everyone, and so you didn't necessarily have that same edge. And I think a lot of people now, while they were questioning it last year, the whole deflections, the work you need to be a starter, do you think that's kind of just a challenge for Paul when he believed in the talent, he wanted to let these guys go, and it just got away from him a little bit?
Yeah, and look, I don't know long term if Paul Weir's going to be the coach at UNM forever. I don't think they make a move this year, but I think Paul Weir is going to, for a guy who already loses sleep over a lot of things that aren't that important, I think he actually has some real serious things to think about from this season, and it starts with kind of abandoning some of the things that he actually did do in the first couple years that he was the coach. He disciplined players in that first year when nobody asked him to. The league didn't. Eddie Nunez was not asking him to suspend players. He was still sitting players out 2 or 3 games at a time. Troy Simon, Sam Logwood, and he would never really come forward with saying why he was doing that. He said it was personal time, or they needed this time, or he just felt it was best that they take a break from the team for a while. He was disciplining players that year, and he kind of backed off of that the last 2 years, really this year in particular. And the deflections thing, he got so much criticism for that. Well, that was about building a culture. He said that from day one, that while it was an odd approach and nobody liked it, at least in his mind, he was doing it with a purpose. He was doing it because teaching players that you get rewarded for diving for loose balls and playing defense was what he wanted the team to be built around. He abandoned that this year, and he said very early on why. He said, look, I actually this year have 5 very clear-cut starters. I have talent. And as I said earlier, he's a guy that lets talent and lets players play a little bit more than trying to get in their way. Man, that's I think what he's going to look back on and really regret is he let talent dictate how to coach this team this year, Jeff, as opposed to sticking to his foundations.
Yeah, I think you can let talent dictate the starting lineup. I've asked this question a number of times. It seems like he's a different coach now than it was 3 years ago on the discipline thing, and
100%.
Well, but everything from philosophy on how we were going to play to discipline, and you know, I always bring up that game at Utah State where he left Antono Jackson home and took 6 scholarship players up to Logan and almost won the game. And
great game.
And it feels like that. I don't know if it's gotten away, Jeff. You're there every day. From the outside, I know a lot of people feel that it's gotten away from him, and that seems to be the biggest pillar. Year one, he was setting a tone. You're going to do things this way or you're not going to be here. Where now it feels like to people on the outside that if you're talented, you can get away with what you want, and here we are with a team that's sitting in the 8th slot.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think that is exactly what has happened, and I don't think it's he's never going to go back to what he was, because I think he very much realizes, and I've talked to him about this, I've talked to the assistant coaches about this, they get that they have made mistakes as coaches this year with how they've managed this team. They understand that. They believe that. Is it a phrase I used earlier? Is it too little, too late? Maybe. But they 100% would agree with what you just said. Nobody on that bench is denying it. Their regret has been that, look, they're 15-3 at one point, and what was it, 13-2, 15-3? I think were the breakdowns. They didn't want to. They got caught themselves in a position. Remember, these are all 40-year-old coaches. These are all young coaches, very young in the positions they're at, and none of them made the decision at any point, and Paul included. Of course, Paul's the head guy, so he's the only one that really matters. None of them made the decision to say, look, things are working pretty well. We're winning. 13-2 is pretty good. Let's change what we're doing because we could see where this is headed. They decided to ride out longer than they should have what was working and don't break what's kind of working kind of thing. And they regret that. I've heard it from their mouth just Thursday at that practice I was at, where I saw players being disciplined again and running pit steps for the first time that I can remember this season. There were coaches that told me, like, you know, we could see it even when we were winning. We saw things coming. They decided to kind of stick with it's not entirely broken right now. Let's stick with this, and they didn't want to, and they shouldn't have early in the season.
Hey Jeff, do you got a run or you got another segment in you? Because we're super late for this break.
Yeah. No, we're good.
I'm going to put you on hold, and we'll continue with Jeff Grammer from the Albuquerque Journal when we get back on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
Give me some money, okay?
Get your
The world-famous Laguna Burger is beautifully handcrafted. A burger that's created from certified Angus beef, sinfully cooked to juicy perfection, and garnished with New Mexico's Hatch green chili. Tempt your taste buds with mouth-watering fresh ingredients.
Cut! We're gonna need another Laguna Burger. Try the irresistible, world-famous Laguna Burger. Visit thelagunaburger.com. It's fresh with a kick. Take 32.
Lava Rock Brewing Company, conveniently located on Albuquerque's west side, just south of I-40. You can come on in, enjoy our pizza, pasta, burgers, and more by Matucci's. It's all at Lava Rock. Lava Rock Brewing Company, come on in.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
What is glamour? Frailty. What is desire? Diamonds. They say a life lived without passion is hardly worth living.
Ma'am? Ma'am? Ma'am?
Dang, this one made me feel all special.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
The Lascombe family has been growing and crafting wine in New Mexico since 1981. Formerly known as St. Clair Winery, we're going back to our roots and honoring our founders, Danielle and Hervé Lascombe. Today, our D.H. Lascombe Winery and Bistro locations continue to deliver the exceptional wine and food experience you've come to expect from the Lascombe family. Visit us and enjoy a culmination of our 6th-generation winemaking legacy and unique, perfectly paired foods. D.H. Lascombe Winery and Bistro.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all.
Sports Animal, you live in Vegas next week at the Mountain West Conference Tournament opening drive live from the Thomas & Mack Center Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. Say thank you to our 5 great tournament sponsors. 1-800-TRUCK-WRECK. Call attorney Clay Miller at 1-800-TRUCK-WRECK. American Home Furniture and Mattress. We guarantee you'll pay less. Hooters, your college hoops headquarters. Airport Parking. Park for less than half the price of the Sunport parking. And Rudy Chavez, attorney at law. Remember, Saul calls Rudy. It's the opening drive. Jeff Grammer is with us. Jeff, I got an email that says too much talent. He says, if I understood Grammer correctly, this season you guys, you have guys that are used to being on the court 38 minutes and have the offense flow through them. There just aren't enough quality touches to go around. They're having trouble dealing with not getting their usual stat line. I mean, that's part of it, right? And then it started.
Well, I would interject there and say that's what these players have in their mind.
Yeah.
I've never been this team has too much talent believer. I've been, I think, criticized a little bit early in the year when they were winning, and last year when I was told how many good players were sitting out and how good they were going to be. I think I was criticized quite a bit by Lobo fans because I never bought into this team being as talented as some people think. I think it's the most talent they've had since the Cameron Bairstow, Alex Kirk season, but that doesn't mean I think they're quite as talented as I think a lot of Lobo fans thought this year's team was. I'll say this, and I know you're not done with the email. I don't think they have a top 5 player at any position right now in the Mountain West Conference, and that's a 7 or an 8 seed team.
But if Bragg would have been on that team, they would have.
I think if Caldwell was on the team, he's a top 5 point guard, and I think Bragg's a top 3, probably center. You could argue top 2 or 1, but yeah, Bragg and Caldwell, I think both were top 5 at their position.
Yeah.
No, Jeff, it's going to be an after the season conversation, but what do you think Paul Ware and this staff is learning and can take from this year for Lobo basketball?
Well, I think, look, he brought in a couple guys this past offseason. He was able to finally kind of have his staff. His way Harriman was gone, and he was also able to create that position to bring in Craig Snow. So he brought in Dan McHale's, the defensive guy with a good defensive background, and a former Division I head coach. And I do think Dan has helped a little bit. I think that Craig has helped as well. I spoke with Craig Snow, that is, I want to say just a week ago, when he told me he was at Highlands for 5 years, and he, a lot like Paul, in year one said, with a very analytics-based kind of decision-making process, said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to run. I'm going to do a lot of the things Paul did in that first year. We're going to press a little bit. We're going to shoot a lot of threes. We're going to base a lot of what we do on what I believe is the right way to do things, and it's a philosophy I've built as an assistant through the years, watching and saying, this is what I'm going to do if I'm ever a head coach. And they did that in year one, and they weren't that good at Highlands. Well, I shouldn't say that. They were decent in year one, but by year 5, he went back. By year 2, he varied from that. He veered off course and started doing things because he was in this constant mode of fixing. Like, okay, well, year 1 is done. Now what do I do to fix that? And year 2 is done. Now what do I do to fix that? And he kept changing things because he thought he had to. And by year 5, his last year at Highlands, he went back to pressing and running and shooting 3-pointers because that ended up being what he believed was the right thing to do. And I think there's a temptation probably for a lot of young people in any profession and in any walk of life to who are ambitious and want to do good at their job to keep fixing and keep thinking, man, this is fixable. I can do better. And you keep changing. I think there's some of that with Paul is, man, the guy just doesn't shut that brain down sometimes and relax and realize that you need some patience. If you believe in your system from 2 years ago, go out on that. Like, actually stick with it. And if you're going to get fired by year 4, then at least get fired doing what you think is the best way to coach the UNM basketball program instead of changing it every year. And now you're at a point now where you're completely abandoned by the end of year 3 what got you to third place in the league in year one. And I think that's what Craig Snow felt he did at Highlands, and I think that's what he and this team probably got away from a little bit in the last year from what Paul Weir did in year one.
Jeff Grammer, the Albuquerque Journal, with us for a few more minutes. All right, give Lobo fans something to hold on to for the next couple of weeks. There's Air Force on the road.
Yep.
There's the Utah State team who's playing really well and looks like they're solidly in the tournament right now. And then we're starting Wednesday at the Mountain West Conference Tournament. Tell them, because I'm struggling finding it right now, a reason to believe that they've got a run in them.
Well, if they get a run, I do think they can win that play-in game. I will point out that in 2 years, Paul Weir has 3 Mount West tournament wins. One of those is a play-in win. One of those is a quarterfinals win. One of those is a semifinal win that got him to the championship. So in 2 years, he does have 3 wins in that tournament. And in Craig Neal's last 3 years, they went one and done all 3 years. The only time the previous staff won a game was when, again, they had 2 NBA players starting for them, and former Mountain West Player of the Year and Kendall Williams starting for them. So it's been a while since that tournament has been what it once was for Lobo fans, but Paul did pretty well with the New Mexico State team in his first year as a head coach and won 3 WAC games. He, in year one as a Mountain West coach, won 2 of them, and in year 2 as a Mountain West coach, won another. So the guy's already got 6 March wins, not the important March wins, I get that, but he does kind of get a team to rally around this one-and-done mentality that you don't want to, 1-2 barbecue and go home. So he can turn around a team pretty quick from game to game, usually pretty well, and maybe that kind of goes into what I was just saying. He overthinks things sometimes. He doesn't have time to overanalyze stuff and get too much in their head. I think the team just goes out and plays in the tournament setting, and they're usually better formatted for that than they are when they have a week off or a few days to prepare.
All right, what are your feelings overall about the tournament, what we saw over the weekend? UNLV getting San Diego State in San Diego, the way Utah State has rebounded after a slow start. How you feeling about the tournament as a whole, even with a week left?
I think Utah State might be the best team right now, and they are a team. Look, San Diego State is still. I turned in an AP ballot last night. My AP ballot still has them at 5. I dropped them from 3 to 5 on my ballot with the UNLV loss. I think it was a bad loss, and it was at home, so maybe I should have dropped them more. But they're still a top 5 team in the country. San Diego State's still very good, but they're in, and they don't have perfection to play for anymore. They probably, at worst, are going to drop to, I guess even worst case scenario, maybe a 4 seed if they lose one more time and maybe lose early in the Mountain West tournament. I don't see them dropping below a 4 seed at the absolute worst. So what are they really playing for? I don't think Dutcher's going to throw Malachi Flynn out there for 35 minutes if he has a bum ankle one night or something like that. So
I think they're playing to get a 2 seed in the West. I think that's what they ideally, as nice as a 1 seed would be for them, if they can go through LA, that's what they want.
Oh, I totally agree with that, but there is a different level of urgency when you're when you're playing for seeding and you're talking about 2 or 3 or maybe a 4 than there is when you're Utah State, which is, I think, in the tournament. But just to be safe, you better go ahead and play your way in. And that's why I think right now, I've thought for weeks that everyone wanted to avoid that 8-9 matchup in the play-in round. Now, of course, everyone would love to avoid the play-in round, but if you're going to be in it, you wanted to at least avoid that 8-9 matchup because you play San Diego State in the quarters if you win. Now I'm starting to wonder if the 7-10 matchup isn't what you want to avoid because Utah State is so good in the past month. Their only loss was on the road at San Diego State, and then they did have an overtime road loss at Boise State, and that was a game they were up, what was it, like 18 points or something? Yeah. And they blew that lead. So Utah State's playing really good, and they're pretty much healthy now, and they're playing their way in. So I would actually think right now the most dangerous team or the team you want to avoid is probably Utah State. Ask me again in a week. They may lose twice this week for all I know. But I do think Utah State might actually be the matchup you want to avoid a little bit at this
I think
point.
both of them are going to be tough. They're both really tough outs, and they're both playing well. All right, man, travel safely. It's good to talk to you. Appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us. Read him every day. He's a great Twitter follow. Your Twitter handle is?
At Jeff Grammer, and that's Geoff, and Grammer with an ER. Spelling both wrong.
And you can read him in the Albuquerque Journal as well. All right, man, we'll see you. We'll see where you headed straight to Colorado, or are you coming home first?
No, I'll come home for a day, and I leave Wednesday morning for Colorado.
All right. Safe travels. See you soon.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank
See
you.
Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal. He's flying, you're driving. How's your car looking? I know you want to keep it looking good. New Mexico, not friendly on your vehicle's paint with all the rock chips, the gravel roads, and the drivers. It makes it look not so great, and that's why you got to call On the Spot Auto Detailing. On the Spot Auto Detailing will protect your vehicle's paint from regular wax job all the way to ceramic coating, which will last up to 5 years. You got a lot invested in your ride, so make sure you protect your vehicle. And you don't have to take it anywhere. What? Yeah, they come to you. On the Spot Auto Detailing comes to you. They come to your home, your office, wherever and whenever is convenient for you. And they'll give it a thorough cleaning inside and out. So those stains and the spills and the pet hair, it's all gone. Those big car washes make you wait in line. Hundreds of cars go through them every day. And unless they keep those brushes clean, they may scratch your paint, and they're usually done with about 7 minutes. 7 minutes. How good could that be? Certainly not as good as what On the Spot Auto Detailing will do. They'll spend an hour or more to get the job done right. On the Spot Auto Detailing, 505-859-2859. 859-2859, or go to otsdetailing.com.
The Sports Bar with Michael and Mike.
I think the favorite part of the sports bar is the insights, the knowledge they pass on. People who've been there, they tell you exactly what's going on.
Finding out what the current events are, what's going on with all sports. You know, we're football and basketball fans, but you guys cover all the sports, and we like that.
The personalities, they are fabulous. Thank you for being there. We can't do without you.
Weekdays at 3, 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions, like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. Indeed will also give you the sticky frog, which will suddenly leap and stick to the face of the perfect hire. Okay, there's no sticky frog. But skills tests, that's a for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Post your next job at Indeed.com/hire and try skills tests for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Your business ideas need room to run wild, but there's no room for error when you're raising the bar. A reliable partner can make a real difference. That's the role of a realtor. An irreplaceable expert who represents your values. A reassuring voice of reason helping you research and reach the right decisions, so you can run your business without running the risk. Is your agent a realtor? Look for the R. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
What's in store this week at your local Staples?
A front row seat to savings.
All month long at Staples, you can save up to 40% on select chairs.
Executive or desk chairs for the office.
Right now, up to 40% off.
And gaming chairs for your home.
Also up to 40% off.
So whether you're outfitting your home, your office, or your home office,
take a seat and save big all month long at Staples,
where there's a whole lot more in store.
Ends 2/29/20 while supplies last.
Fresquez Productions presents March Madness, a night of pro boxing Saturday, March 7th at Isleta Resort and Casino. Matthew Diamond Boy Griego versus Ronnie Baldonado. Tickets from $25 at Isleta.com. Cards up to the king. March Madness, March 7th at Isleta Resort and Casino.
TJ Trout here, and are you up for the New Mexico Trout Challenge? Every angler that competes the challenge gets a Trout Challenge coin, bragging rights, and their name in the New Mexico Trout Challenge Hall of Fame. For more information, go to the New Mexico Department of Game and Fish website.
If Mardi Gras is calling you to the Big Easy, plan to take a ride on us. The Sports Animal is partnered with Bernalillo County, Budweiser Drinkwiser, Premier Distributing Company, and Uber to help end DWI. Whether you're attending your favorite fish boil or collecting beads with friends, if you're going to drink, open the Uber app now and enter the code MG2020 and request an Uber, and we'll pay up to $10 for your ride. This offer is good for the first 600 people who use the code on February 25th. Together, we can end DWI.
This is not what I thought I was ordering. Now I gotta return it.
Well, there's no need to shop online anyway. We've got a great place here in town that makes all the hassles go away.
I know, American Home Furniture Outlet and Clearance Center.
They've got exactly what you want in stock.
And you can even get it delivered today. It's easy and convenient.
Great quality items for every room in your home. Beds, tables, chairs, sofas, mattresses, rugs, and so much more.
And don't forget they're local.
And if you do have an issue, you can talk to a real person. No no trying to figure out how to ship it back.
I should have remembered. It's also the clearance center for all their locations.
Right. Canceled special orders, floor samples, closeouts, overstocked, and one-of-a-kinds.
There's new items and new markdowns almost every day, too.
And many of the items are at, near, or below cost. Quantities are limited, and when they're gone, they're gone.
Plus, there's great financing options available. Financing is subject to credit approval. American Home credit card accounts are issued by Comenity Bank.
Remember the American Home Furniture Outlet and Clearance Center, I-25 in Comanche.
Capital One knows life doesn't alert you about your credit card.
Next stop, Graham Street. And Brian in the khaki shorts. Your G&L energy bill went up 60% this month. Seems like you'd want to know. Stand clear of the closing doors.
So, meet Eno, the Capital One assistant that catches things that might look wrong, like increases to a recurring bill, then sends an alert to your phone and helps you fix it. Eno, another way Capital One is watching out for your money when you're not. Capital One, what's in your wallet? See CapitalOne.com for details. Limitations apply.
Catch the Sports Bar with Michael and Mike.
Local talk today at 3, 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
All right, you can respond to that. I want to get Grammer on today. I think his perspective, just being with the team every day, being at practice, and everything that happened with the discipline and or the new lineups and or why did it I thought his perspective was pretty good, and one that you and I probably don't have because we're not with the team every day.
And there's a lot of things that everyone has watched play out this season in the questions, and I thought his comment on Paul Weir was right, and he was a coach that felt he had more talent, which he did this year, and even if they weren't the best basketball team in the first half of the season or blowing people out, they were talented enough to compete, and they would have, if stayed as constructed, been in the race to be a top 2 team. They would have been behind San Diego State.
Well, there with Utah State. Right.
But what was telling to me from Jeff is, now is it hindsight? Is it after the fact? But coach is saying, hey, we felt something was a little bit off even then, but we still rolled with it.
Yeah, let's not mess with Happy right now. Yeah, I agree with that. It sounds like Jeff's very much behind Paul, which is encouraging that he sees something there. Now, I know, they forged that relationship, and Jeff went to New Mexico State and had that relationship with him. But he's pretty objective. But that was interesting. That was actually really interesting. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922. 0610, your emails will come in, Jeff at 610knml.com or JJ at 610knml.com. We're on television. You can watch the show on ProViewNetworks.com. Josh produces for you today. Mike is running the ship on the radio side. But give us a call. Chris sent me an email on Chris Jans. Chris Jans was our guest at 8:15 this morning, the New Mexico State head basketball coach. Aggies have the longest winning streak in the nation. He's responding to Ken. Ken was a phone call earlier, said there's a trend that said basically Menzies and Weir both beat up on a weak WAC and then took the jump up to the Mountain West and struggled, and said that would be the same for Jans, to leave him, he should stay there. Ken says Mark Pope made the jump from Utah Valley and led BYU to adopt 25 ranking in an upset at Gonzaga this weekend. There's some good coaches in the WAC. Jans will have success wherever he goes because defense is in his DNA. Menzie and Weir actually would lose games in the WAC, usually 2 losses. I recall a 20-point loss to Bakersfield in Weir's year. Jans is from Greg Marshall's coaching tree, so it's much different than the Weir-Menzies tree of out-talenting everyone. Jans is a little bit of a different coach, it feels like, doesn't it?
It does, and the talent aspect to this. This team, A.J. Harris, I guess, would have been their best player opposite Trevelyan Queen for New Mexico State, so they're without him.
Because Jabari Rice would not have evolved as he has.
And that's what's really stood out, is they don't have that dude. Now, Queen can be the guy, but he's dealt with injuries. He's still working his way back. Yeah. But there's not that wow player that many of the other rosters have had, and they were still good teams, but you had that go-to guy, so they've had to develop. And the job that Chris Jansen's staff has done to just navigate that route to get to this point, to have them have the edge, the physicality, the defensive presence is just really impressive to me this year.
I agree with that. They are not out-talenting. Well, they're out-talenting this league, okay? Mm-hmm. But they're not doing it on sheer talent. and at one point being down 4 projected starters and doing it with guys like again, Jabari Rice was supposed to be a year away. There is no Daniel Mullings, Pascal Siakam, no go-to guy that you just say, boy, there's our guy. You know who's going to have the ball at the end. And they've got a couple of bigs, and they're doing it with defense, which is, I think, been something that they've done since Chris has been there, right? They've been pretty good defensively. They're good around the rim. They rebound. So it does feel a little bit different. This email's from Maurice. It's on debt forgiveness. If you saw the story over the weekend, that it looks like legislature is going to basically forgive or take care of the debts of both of the athletic departments at New Mexico State and New Mexico. Jeff, if you lend JJ $50 so he can go to lunch and grub, and 5 years later when he still hasn't paid, you go back and tell him not to worry about it, you're still out those $50. The legislature did not give Lobo Athletics $5 million to pay off their debts. They just urged them to be canceled. I'm not sure how this would work. Someone somewhere is going to be out a bunch of Ben Franks. Well, first of all, I did that with Stigler, right? That was a bet. I didn't give him the money. There's money with the oil and gas boom, and the legislature has decided, it looks like, to free both of those athletic departments of debts accrued by previous administrations. I think they've looked at both of these current administrations or athletic administrations and seen that they are doing everything they can to be fiscally responsible, that they are handcuffed by a debt and paying it back, and that there was money to work that out this year. And I know a lot of people are going to have a problem with that. And again, I go back to other departments on campus and who else has to, what happens when they come in under and they get cleared. I'm gonna tell you, I don't have a problem with them, and in fact, I think it's giving both of these athletic departments an opportunity to move forward and compete at a higher level, having these debts cleared. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that statement, giving them an opportunity. I think what frustrates people is, are they just going to be right back here in a few years? Well, is there any way to have sustainability in the way college athletics is built and what you're asked to do as an athletic department, both here and in Las Cruces, to sustain, to compete for scholarships when you just can't recoup the same amount of money on it?
Well, not only that, when the budgets have remained flat, tuition has gone up, travel has gone up, cost of housing the student athletes has gone up, cost of feeding the student athletes has gone up. I've told you this a bunch of times. When your budget is flat, your budget is going backwards. And it's a great question. It's a fair question, but both of these athletic departments with these current athletic directors have shown that balancing the budget has been paramount. And John Arthur Smith, I think it was somebody, I read a quote that said, he hates seeing these teams have to play these body bag games just to pay back a debt. Well, they're going to still have to pay those games because they're still going to have to make budget. The budget's not going up. Ticket sales aren't going up, but the cost of everything else, your expenses are going up. And it's real. But you can, I'm interested in how you do feel about that. All right, we got to take the final break, 505-246-0610, but I want to tell you a little truth before we go. There's a men's health clinic in Albuquerque that can help you feel like you again. New Mail can help you take care of lack of energy, low T, erectile dysfunction. All you got to do is call them. New Mail's helped thousands of men all over the country feel better. For years, New Mail's been the leader when it comes to men's health, cutting-edge technology, the latest treatments. New Mail is helping men deal with depression, hair loss, ED. Just pick up the phone and call them. 505-652-1688. 505-652-1688, or visit newmail.com. A little more truth. When men reach a certain age, low T, ED, lack of energy are all natural, but that doesn't mean you've got to live with it. And it's certainly nothing to be ashamed of. Call New Mail, 505-652-1688. The process is comfortable from the phone call to your first visit all the way through the treatment, and the results are real. Do yourself a favor and take care of you. New Mail, 505-652-1688, or visit newmail.com and feel better.
The world-famous look Laguna Burger is beautifully handcrafted. A burger that's created from certified Angus beef, sinfully cooked to juicy perfection, and garnished with New Mexico's Hatch green chili. Tempt your taste buds with mouth-watering fresh ingredients.
Cut! We're gonna need another Laguna Burger. Try the irresistible, world-famous Laguna Burger. Visit thelagunaburger.com. It's fresh with a kick. Take 32.
Lava Rock Brewing Company, conveniently located on Albuquerque's west side, just south of I-40. You can come on in, enjoy our pizza, pasta, burgers, and more by Matucci's. It's all at Lava Rock. Lava Rock Brewing Company, come on in.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
What is glamour? Frailty. What is desire? Diamonds. They say a life lived without passion is hardly worth living.
Ma'am? Ma'am? Ma'am?
Dang, this one made me feel all special.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
The Lascombe family has been growing and crafting wine in New Mexico since 1981. Formerly known as St. Clair Winery, we're going back to our roots and honoring our founders, Danielle and Hervé Lascombe. Today, our D.H. Lascombe Winery and Bistro locations continue to deliver the exceptional wine and food experience you've come to expect from the Lascombe family. Visit us and enjoy a culmination of our 6th-generation winemaking legacy and unique, perfectly paired foods. D.H. Lascombe Winery and Bistro.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, #life change will occur.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green.
And keep the community green as well.
Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one.
Life at Staples Center today. Kobe and Gianna. It'll be a tearjerker. You gonna watch that?
I'll watch what's on from it. I don't know if
Yeah,
I'll tune into the whole
ESPN's
thing.
doing the whole thing. I actually recorded it. I'll probably watch it and cry tonight. Gonna get crying. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, and no Hoser because Micah now has that job. And who's over there today? I had to look. Hey, what's up, Josh? Well, sometimes I don't know, man. Sometimes there's different dudes over there.
I'm the guy with the beautiful hair.
Different beards, different hairs. Yeah, man, with a beautiful hair. Yeah. You do have beautiful hair.
It is.
It is beautiful. Yeah, you guys should see his hair. It's beautiful. Rod says New Mexico State sounds as healthy as they've been all season, Jefferson. No, not the team. Chris Jans' phone.
Sounded pretty good this morning.
It did. Bad Street says Lancer is the OD answer. Jeff, Lance started a fight in church, and then he gave me something to play, but I can't play it. Yeah, Lance started a fight in church over would you put your knife in the peanut butter or the jelly first. Anybody put their knife in the jelly first?
Sure, there is.
And then somebody's like, of course, dude. What do you think? You're not going to soil the jelly. Sarah said, troubling trend, Jeff. This weekend I spoke with some Lady Lobo fans. 10 years ago, they had 5 season tickets and went to most of the road games. Then 5 years ago, it was 4 season tickets in the conference tournament. This season, it was 2 season tickets, and they're not going to Vegas. Next year, probably no season tickets. How long can the program survive if this kind of fall off in support is widespread? Well, the program will survive.
It's called aging.
I think she's telling you it's not that aging isn't the reason for that.
There's a bit of that.
Okay.
If you honestly take a look at that crowd.
All right. The program will survive. How long will it be able to meet revenue projections, or will revenue projections be able to hit that? Is a different conversation. But yeah, you've seen the. I mean, it's an aging. Both crowd bases are,
and
aging.
It's what every business, what every team asks is, how do you develop the next generation? How do you keep people interested in your product?
Sid says, can a leopard change his spots? Mr. Rogers reacted to A.D. Nunez's edict. Weir has acted most of the season like he was not aware of any problems. From Nunez and on down the line to Weir's assistants, Lobos are very soft on discipline and guidelines. The culture that Weir and his staff have cultivated and grown is now in place. The returning players next season know what has transpired and know how to take advantage of Weir and his staff. When this occurs in the workplace, the solution is to replace management. I don't think Nunez has the cojones to pull that off. Weir does not be willing to leave the Mr. Rogers persona behind him. I would suggest he shuffle his staff, add a couple of older, hard-ass assistants that may be able to do the job he refuses to do. All right, so a couple things in there, Brutus. I don't think Eddie not having the cojones to make a change has nothing to do with it. He may not have the money to make a change, even if he wants to make a change. I don't know if it's time to make a change or not. Paul can go back and reset this thing. He certainly can have a postseason meeting and say, here's how it's going to be next year. If you don't want to be here, the transfer portal's open to you. But we're not putting up with this next year, whatever this happens to be. And here are the team guidelines for next year. I'll give them to you now. You're going to be on time. If not, this is what's going to happen. You're going to do this. He absolutely can reset and go back to year one if he wants to. Don't you think?
Yes.
We hear all the time, young men, student athletes yearn for structure. As much as people tell you, oh, no, they love a soft coach. They love to be able to run wild. How many of those teams?
Everybody wants to know what's expected.
That's all. That's correct. That's correct. That's absolutely correct. And so I totally disagree with the email. Assistant coaches are going to run how the head coach wants the ship to be run. Right? That's just, you're going to do what the boss wants you to do. Or you're going to go find another job, right? And go do it somewhere else. You're brought in to do a job. The boss tells you how to do the job. That's how, he sets the tone. Paul, I think, would like to operate. I've never had curfews before, and they're responsible. It's that whole, I'm going to treat you like a man until you give me a reason not to treat you like a man, right? Is it fair to say discipline at some level was an issue this season?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
It is. You had a dude who didn't go on a road trip, throw a party, in which shots were fired, and that's not directly on him, but you have to own that. Like just everything that happened, you wouldn't consider that happening in the Alford era or even a year or two ago. And what fascinates me about Lyle is what Jeff brought up. He's like, he has been here since day one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 3-year relationship with Lyle and Paul, where it sounds like Paul trusted Jaquan and believed in him going into this season. So what happened once Lyle actually got on the court to change all that and become a player that they didn't think could be a leader, that isn't practicing what he was preaching, as Jeff Grammer said, when he did come out and he kind of he did call those guys out on social media last year. And he's been one of the better practice players, but once he got on the court this year, we haven't seen any of that.
Yeah. And I wonder if Jaquan felt he needed to do it out of necessity, or he could take charge. And I wonder if you poured some truth serum into Paul, how does he feel betrayed, disappointed by these guys who he brought in that he gave a lot of leeway to, that he gave a lot of trust to.
1 minute.
And he may not say it, but let him down. All right, thanks to Chris Jans for being with us today, the New Mexico State head basketball coach. Aggies back at it on Thursday in Phoenix against Grand Canyon. Thank you to Jeff Grammer, the beat writer for Louisville basketball for the Albuquerque Journal. He also was with us today. Tomorrow, I don't know, we'll have a bunch of stuff for you. Because the rankings will be out, and we'll have the Kobe thing to react to, and there'll be a lot.
30.
Jim Rome Show is next. Dan Patrick Show follows that. The Sports Bars this afternoon at 3, and we're back with actually, you get Lady Lobos basketball at 6:30 tonight, and we're back with award-winning radio tomorrow at 7 a.m. Josh, great work always. Micah,
15.
Going into another week. Have fun today, dude.
Oh, I will.
Oh, I know you will.
You as well.
I will try. Go out and be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll see you tomorrow.